Pirates awakened Conqueror at the beginning. Chapter 101-120. Chapter 101 _ Strange Force vs Gravity 6 King's Gun. Above the sea, an unparalleled aftershock spilled out. Baizi's full-level air shock collided with the four Emperors. Charlotte Linlin's Emperor's Sword breaking 5, blade. Such power is definitely a match of the four Emperors' level. Originally waiting to watch a good show, the scene of the Yanwang pirates and Baizi being tortured and murdered by them already came to mind. At this moment, 1 counts as 1, and 2 count as a pair, and they all fall into a state of dazed and dumbfoundedness. How is this possible? Impossible. Mama's Emperor sword was broken by that damn boy. This guy is so strong, and his ability is very similar to Whitebeard's shock fruit. I'm darling, this Baizi is going to defy the sky. Crazy, the world is so crazy. What did I see? I'm not dreaming. The sun Prometheus merged into the sword and was broken by that guy named Baizi. Is this the existence that killed them? Smoothie, Sama and Cracker Sama, so scary. It's terrible. No wonder Lord Smoothie and Lord Cracker are planted in their hands. I'm afraid that if Lord Katakuri meets them, there will be no second ending. I don't believe that Mom is invincible. That's right, Mama is just warming up now. The next thing is the real action. 7 or 8, the subordinates brought by Juan Charlotte Linlin were all emotionally intense, shouting and complaining excitedly. Everyone, leave this place thousands of feet away. Just on July 8, 10:00 Charlotte Linlin's subordinates shouted at the same time. Charlotte stepping on the thundercloud. Zeus ordered a sharp and piercing sound wave lingering over the entire sea area, hearing the roaring in everyone's ears. 7 or 8, Juan Noisy's subordinates, like dead dogs strangled by their necks, fell into a dead silence in an instant, and in the next moment, all the ships turned around and left thousands of meters away, with expressions on their faces full of horror. Angry. Mama is completely angry. Now something big is going to happen. The sky in the new world completely collapsed in less than a minute. Charlotte Linlin in this scene had no worries. His eyes fell on Baizi, who was on the opposite side. His body was full of evil spirits, and the dark red Conqueror hockey slammed open. Baizi raised his right palm and faced Fujitora Isho and Ryokugyu and his party. You should also retreat 1,000 feet away. The next battle is not something you can participate in. Yes, Captain. Baizi said this. Fujitora, Isho, Ryokugyu and the others looked at each other and said solemnly, looking at the competing arena, with endless enthusiasm and anticipation flashing in their eyes. Captain, did you finally take action against the four emperors? If they win this battle, if not, they stop the four emperors. Charlotte Linlin, then their Yanwang pirates deservedly become the 5th emperor of the New World. A little while. Above this sea area, there is no one within a radius of 1,000 meters except Baizi and Ling, not even a single sea king in the deep sea. Because under the previous confrontation, in this sea area, at least none of the sea kings in the sea area under the feet of the two survived. What an arrogant boy. If he really thinks he is so strong, he is self-righteous. Today I want you to know how far the strength of the four emperors is from you. 3 kinds of devil fruits. Marinero Kushiki's ultimate mystery, Jia Jia. Charlotte Linlin looked at the sea area with only 2 people within 1,000 feet, sneered, and said with disdain, "Don't worry, you will die today. Go, I will let all of your comrades be buried with you." With dark eyes, Charlotte Linlin looked at Baizi as if she was looking at a dead person. In her mind, Baizi at this moment was no different from a dead person, to tell the truth. Even if this guy blocks himself and even if he kills his 2 children of desert 3 generals, only when he becomes the 4th emperor will he know how far the 4th emperor's strength is. Scoff. Is Charlotte Linlin of the 4 emperors a talker? Facing Charlotte Linlin's threat of eating guago, Baizi obviously didn't buy it at all, and continued with a sneer, "But also, if you die here today, I will let your 7 or 8, Juan subordinates, all be buried with you." Needlepoint maiming. The depressing atmosphere of the scene suddenly rises. What a sharp-mouthed boy. Let me fall. What a big breath. Mother, I want to see how you made me fall today. Looking at Bai Z's arrogant words, Charlotte Linlin laughed outright and made her fall. Just kidding, let alone Bai Z, even Whitebeard, Kaido of the Beasts and the Redhead don't have the confidence. This kid is really not ordinary big. If that's the case, then go to hell. This point, Charlotte Linlin's fierce mouth flashed a ruthless color, and when he raised his hand, endless dark red Conqueror Haki surged out. Armament Haki poured into his right fist, and immediately attacked Bai Z with the power of tearing the space. Open black lens bracket, strange power, close black lens bracket. Air was instantly blasted, and along the way, the space around Charlotte Linlin's right fist was distorted and squeezed to both sides by the strange force. Such a punch, I don't know how much higher than Ryokugyu. Thousands of feet away, many Charlotte Linlin's subordinates were all excited when they saw Mama unleashing a strange force. You must know that when Mama was 5 years old, she could kill a bear with one punch. According to legend, when she was a child, Mama wanted to help the giant. The clan beat the mosquitoes away, but with a slap in the face, the elite of the giant clan broke several ribs, directly helping the serious injury. In the past few decades, even when the three-color Haki has been brought to the extreme, there are only a few hands that can be received with one punch in the world today. Are you stronger? Marine Rokushiki Ultimate Profound Truth. Open black lens bracket, 6 Kings of Gravity Spear, close black lens bracket. The rumbling extreme gravity fruit was poured into his right fist by Bai Z, and Marine Rokushiki's ultimate profound meaning, 6 Kings Spear, instantly used it, carrying an unparalleled impulse, to meet it. Short-handed encounter, the two instantly slammed their fists together. Loud roar. The next moment, the seawater metal within a radius of 1,000 meters boiled, and two dark red Haki, with Bai Z and Charlotte Linlin as the center, instantly spread thousands of feet away. Charlotte Linlin's 7 or 8 subordinates, more than 20 ships were blown upside down by the terrifying energy and flew out more than 100 meters away. Open black lens bracket, gravity barrier, close black lens bracket. Fujitora Isho did not hesitate at all, and immediately used the gravitational barrier again, but Observation Haki paid close attention to the two people fighting on the field. Gravity and the 6 Kings Spear combination, the strength of the captain is really more and more terrifying. Even with the resistance of the gravity barrier, Fujitora Isho and his party have stepped back more than 10 feet, which is worthy of resisting the horror of being played. To the ultimate Conqueror Haki competition. Female Emperor Boa Hancock, who also has the presence of Haki, looked at Bai Z and Charlotte Linlin's Haki in the field, and the difference between himself and their use of Haki was too far. Captain's control of Haki has reached the level of terror of the 4 emperors. It's incredible. Chapter 102 Hachirai. Instant collision. Like two high-speed trains colliding together, a thunderous explosion blasted away over the Dead Sea, and waves of energy and dark red Haki continued to destroy the space in this sea. Under the impact of a volcanic eruption, Bai Z has retreated more than 8 feet, and the 4 emperors on the opposite side, Charlotte Linlin, are also fully retreated. They are evenly matched, and the result is undoubtedly far beyond Charlotte Linlin and the thousands of feet behind him. Evenly divided. This is the result, but when the Empress Hancock and Ace saw this scene, their hearts were about to jump out. The 4 emperors and the others guessed right, the captain's strength is already comparable to the 4 emperors. What an amazing kid. Above the sea, Charlotte Linlin, who was stepping on Thundercloud Zeus, finally turned dignified. The blow just now was that Admiral was going to be severely injured, but Bai Z, who killed his 2 children, was just retreating. After reaching 8 feet, Vivi stepped back a little bit more than himself, which was completely negligible. Take out some means to get the table, your means are not enough to kill me. She glanced at Charlotte Linlin, whose face was like a pig's liver, and said with a joking smile. Crazy boy. Since you are in a hurry to find death, my mother will help you. Hearing Bai Z's almost provocative contemptuous words, Charlotte Linlin, who was already full of anger and hatred, immediately went completely crazy. Open black lens bracket fire in the sky close black lens bracket. The next instant, a fist hit by Z, and immediately the endless flames above by Z fell from the sky. The solidity and use of the flames were far beyond Ace's comparison. Of flames covered the entire sky, and the ocean that suddenly turned into fire pressed down on by Z, and it was about to engulf by Z in an instant. Not only by Z, but also the Empress Hancock and others can clearly feel that the temperature of the entire sea area has skyrocketed by more than 10 degrees in an instant. Just at the moment when the sea of flames was about to engulf by Z's right hand stretched out to face the sea below him, palm up, Vivi lifted up, and the seawater with a radius of several hundred meters was used by Z's anti-gravity and blasted into the sky. Get up. In an instant, it was dozens of meters above his head, and it slammed into the sky with Charlotte Linlin's move. Chi-chi-chi. The flame ocean and the sea Wang-yang collided in an instant, and the extremely high temperature caused the extremely dense water vapor to form within a radius of thousands of meters and even beyond. The blow failed. Charlotte Linlin countered with a move, open black lens bracket great wave close black lens bracket. Bang! A 1,000-foot-long ocean wave erupted from Charlotte Linlin's back. Under her control, with unparalleled wealth, it slammed into by Z with a bang. This was not an ordinary ocean wave, but Charlotte Linlin injected soul power. It can be said that the thousands of waves at the moment are part of Charlotte Linlin. Open black lens bracket high gen close black lens bracket. Charlotte Linlin just came out with one hand, and by Z, who was standing opposite to him, shook the fruit with a bang in his palm, and in the next instant, a monstrous ocean wave was also set off behind by Z, and it also rushed into the sky. Then 2,000-foot waves crashed toward the center from both sides. Ryokugyu and the others could feel it at that moment, and the sea surface was dropping several points at a visible speed. End to the waves on both sides, and the great battle that destroys the sky and destroys the earth. Watching 7 or 8, Juan Charlotte Linlin's men and Hancock and his party, are all shocked. It can be said that from the beginning of the battle, their eyeballs have not blinked even once. The sea water slammed into the two sides, like two endless springs, all of them collided in the center, the endless sea water crashed down, and the whole sea area was covered with rain for a while. The battle between the two can be said to be a splendid duel at the peak of the Four Emperors level for everyone present. The various means between the two emerge in an endless stream, which is completely beyond the scope of everyone's cognition. In a sense, this Whitebeard's Haikuan is 1% more evil than the one used by Whitebeard, who was on top of the war. However, it is not over yet, but the real fierce battle continues. Every move of Bai Zi and Charlotte Linlin is with endless hidden murderous intentions, and it is definitely a big stroke that surpasses everyone's imagination. Open black lens bracket storm close black lens bracket. Before one hit, another attack had already been launched by Charlotte Linlin. In an instant, the sound of lightning and thunder rang out over the entire sea area, followed by an extremely heavy pouring downpour. However, this one hand Charlotte Linlin did not end, but the right hand protruded again. The endless thunder power of thundercloud Zeus under her feet poured into her hands as much as possible. The voice of Ziz, this person's hands formed this from Charlotte Linlin's hands. The thunderous light ball of speech, the sound is harsh and makes the scalp numb. Open black lens bracket thunder close black lens bracket. Boy, go to hell. The two murderous intentions merged into one, the power of thunder mixed with endless storms, and the indiscriminate bombardment within a radius of 100 meters whereby Z, who was as small as an ant, was located. If you are hit by a second hit, you will definitely die. The might of the Four Emperors is so terrifying. With an angry blow, this move can already be regarded as Charlotte Linlin's full force blow, and it can be said that this move is more ferocious than any previous move. Thunder. Looking at the thunder and storms in the sky, Bai Zi murmured, in that case. Yaki Thunder Dragon, now. Bai Zi, who roared lowly, burst out with the endless power of thunder under his feet. In the next moment, with Bai Zi as the center, the power of thunder that was so strong to the extreme emerged. Even the thunder cloud Zeus under Charlotte Linlin on the opposite side trembled. Sing. Sing Yi Yin. The sound of your dragon's roar pierced through the air in everyone's horrified eyes, and spread among this sea area. The next moment, the thundering thunders that were rushing around instantly turned into a giant dragon formed by 8 thunders, and the 8 dragons were created by the 8 thunder dragons. Thunder Dragon appeared, and instantly attacked Charlotte Linlin's 2 ultimate moves. Lightning flickered, Thunder Dragon raged, and the endless coercion instantly took Charlotte Linlin's shock wave after wave. Lasted for a few minutes, and after receiving all the attacks, the Thunder Dragon Protector dissipated between the heavens and the earth as if he had completed the task, but the scene just now shocked everyone present. Thunder Dragon. 8 Thunder Dragons, my god, what else does Baizi have? Even Mama can't take him down, bastard, how could it be like this? Fei Lu reminds you. Chapter 103 With the utmost sword intent, cut off the arms of the 4 emperors. 8 Thunder Dragons disappeared, and many attacks were calmed down. Of the rolling waves of more than 100 feet showed what kind of battle was going on here just now. Asshole boy. You are courting death. Until now, Charlotte Linlin was completely shocked. All the means she had always been proud of were all taken over by this kid in front of her, which made Her Majesty of the 4 Emperors furious. Charlotte Linlin finally once again unleashed a powerful blow. Open black lens bracket flame crit close black lens bracket. Thundercloud Zeus and Sun Prometheus poured into Charlotte Linlin's right fist, and Napoleon, the double-horned hat in his hand, immediately appeared in his hand, and immediately slashed towards Baizi with a sword, and the 3-colored hockey around him was urged to the extreme. Charlotte Linlin carried 3 of her 3 strongest cronies, homies, the giant sword, the thunder and the flame, and slashed by Zetian Lingai with 1,000 feet. Wherever he passed, the air trembled, the space was distorted, and he appeared above Baizi's heavenly spirit cover in an instant. Sword of 1,000 meters, thunder and flames fused together perfectly, and slashed towards Baizi with a devastating blow. It could be said that this blow was something that no redhead had ever tasted before, and it was Charlotte Linlin's trump card. Marine Rokushiki Ultimate Profound Truth, Air Shock 6 King's Thunder Gun. Instant, Baizi didn't dare to take it too big, and he punched the 2 devil fruits to the fullest with a single punch, and the same 3-color hockey all over his body opened up. An instant, it slammed past Charlotte Linlin's ultimate sword, and time seemed to freeze at this moment. Countless eyes stared at the field, they wanted to know the final answer as soon as possible. If 2 comets collided, the center of 1,000 meters seemed to have turned into a small sun, and the endless fiery rays of light were shuttled recklessly, and everyone watching could not open their eyes, even observation hockey could not detect it in the center. One blow, Baizi and Charlotte Linlin both retreated more than 100 meters away, but before Charlotte Linlin could recover, they felt the sword intent on the opposite side soaring to the extreme, and instantly reached the peak. In the field instantly attracted everyone. Sword intent. That's right, it's sword intent. And this kind of sword intent is many times stronger than Shichibukai, the number 1 swordsman king, who is behind Baizi. Thousands of meters away, Ryokugyu, Kurostar and others were also stunned. Sword intent, this is the wrong sword of Daijinhao, it seems to be a bit more powerful than Daijinhao. The captain is also a swordsman. This is the conclusion that everyone has come to mind at the same time, and it is not an ordinary swordsman. This kind of sword intent is hard to beat in today's world, even if they killed Momoshige. Open black lens bracket sword intent / close black lens bracket. The unprecedented sword intent that suddenly erupted instantly stunned everyone. Without any hesitation, he immediately swung his sword out, and the white-silver light several feet disappeared in Baizi Dao in an instant, and the next white light appeared in Charlotte Linlin's heavenly spirit cover. Up! The blow that surpassed the top swordsman made Linlin immediately stunned, but he suddenly wanted to move away from the side, but it was too late. PFF'd. A bang! The blow that surpassed the top swordsman immediately flashed past Charlotte Linlin's arm, and the next instant brought a string of blood flowers. Ah! Terrifying. The screams came from the sky in an instant, a huge arm fell into the sea in the eyes of everyone, and Charlotte Linlin's left arm was cut off abruptly in the air at this moment, and the blood on the shoulders was as if it gushed out like a spring. Great waves. Charlotte Linlin endured the huge pain in her arm and launched another wave of attacks. However, facing the tens of thousands of men behind her, she resented and gave the order to retreat. Lost. When she fought against Bai Zefeng again, she was cut off by that kid. How could it be like this? That kid's strength. He is still a swordsman who surpassed the top swordsman level. Damn, careless. What withdrawal? What happened? I really want to see an arm. Ah, that's a numb arm. How is that possible? The invincible mama was actually cut off by that. Damn it, Bai Z kid. Impossible. How is it possible? How could mama lose to that kid? No. Fake. It must be fake. All this must be the illusion of Bai Z and the others. It must be. Mad. Whether it's true or not, it's the most important thing to leave this place of right and wrong first. Did you leave without seeing mama? Oh what? Mama, she left. Thousands of feet away, there were also 7 or 8, 10,000 pirates, all of whom looked around at mama, Charlotte Linlin, who had never seen them, and a figure behind them shrunk sharply, while a sentence floated in the air. Child Bai Z, if you dare to hurt me, wait until the next time, I will let you live and die. Wow. Mama actually left. Run away. A sudden, seeing Charlotte Linlin turn around and run without ignoring them. How dare they stay for half a minute? They can't wait to grow a leg and leave this place of right and wrong. However, they want to leave, but someone doesn't want them to leave so easily. This person is none other than Bai Z standing in the air. Want to leave. Bai Z came to a distance of 1,000 meters in a flash, the power of thunder in the void condensed, and looked at Charlotte Linlin's men who had already fled nearly 1,000 meters in front of him. It's not that easy. Thunder God punishment. ZZZ instantly landed within 1,000-meter radius with Bai Z as the center. There were many Charlotte Linlin's ships that had not yet escaped from 1,000 meters away. It is also the 12 trillion sweat pores all over the body standing upside down. One blow, more than 20 pirate ships were left behind, and nearly half of the men brought by Charlotte Linlin were instantly electrocuted by endless thunder gods and could no longer die. After the thunder god's punishment, Bai Z was satisfied. God has the virtue of good life, and he didn't want to commit too much murder. Of course, in fact, his real thought was that he had done so much, and someone had to spread it out. And the remaining 30,000 to 40,000 people are undoubtedly the best publicity personnel, free labor. Bai Z felt nothing, but Ryokugyu and the others behind him were terrified. Tens of thousands of people, with just such a move, completely met the King of Hell. At this moment, they were extremely emotional, and life was too fragile in the new world. However, their eyes were full of excitement when they looked at Bai Z. The 5th Emperor. After this battle, their captain will finally become the 5th Emperor. Chapter 104 Blackbeard reappears. Target Soul Fruit. Under the turn of the hand, half of the elite men of the 4 Emperors Charlotte Linlin were destroyed. Between heaven and earth is restored again. Looking at the lightning flashes all over the body, even Fujitora Isho and Ryokugyu are trembling. Is this the true strength of their captain? It's really terrifying and despairing. The 4 Emperors Charlotte Linlin, that is, an arm was cut off by their captain's sword. With such strength, Nima is too fierce. Although there is a little bit of cleverness, but being able to be so proud, if this matter spreads, it will definitely surprise everyone's attention. Charlotte Linlin, one of the 4 emperors, was cut off with an arm. What kind of record this is, you can even imagine it with your toes. After a while, Bai Z also left this sea area. Between the heavens and the earth, duns fell into silence. About half a quarter of an hour later, a pirate ship appeared in this sea area. Looking at the scarlet sea water that had not yet retreated and was stained with blood, everyone on the ship looked solemn. Captain, you see that's an arm. At this moment, a sharp-eyed cadre saw a huge arm in Li Haihui, the reason why he was surprised because this arm was so familiar. That is. Charlotte Linlin, is the arm of the 4th Emperor Charlotte Linlin, mother, that. Baizi is so powerful that she cut off an arm of Charlotte Linlin, the fifth emperor of the New World. The other officials looked around and recognized the owner of the arm, and these people were none other than the black-bearded pirates who had been hit by Baizi's thunder on Fishman Island before and hit the bottom of the sea. Group line. Except for Sanyuan Wolf and Tarina Devon who died on Fishman Island before, none of the Blackbeard pirates of today's Blackbeard pirates have fallen. Obviously, the original thunder power was swallowed up by Blackbeard's dark fruit. Would be the result now. The arm of the four emperors Charlotte Linlin. The Blackbeard muttered to himself, his sinister eyes rolled, and the corners of his mouth suddenly raised a sharp arc. This is a good opportunity. Since we can't get the Junjun fruit, it would be nice to have Charlotte Linlin's soul and soul fruit. Blackbeard grinned Isho, and looked towards the direction Charlotte Linlin was leaving. He was far away before, not realizing that Charlotte Linlin was injured so badly, and attacking Charlotte Linlin was definitely the best chance at this moment. The captain meant to kill the four emperor Charlotte Linlin. When Captain Burgess heard the captain's words, a gleam of light flashed in his eyes. After following Blackbeard for so long, they also have a good understanding of his cautious temperament, and besides, they are not good birds. It's said that things gather people by similarities and divide them into groups. If so, the captain killed Charlotte Linlin instead, that scene. And Charlotte Linlin's soul fruit, which doesn't exist much, plus the captain's dark fruit, which is Whitebeard's red hair, and that White Z is not to be afraid of. Cadres echoed it out, obviously agreeing with this approach, and they have done it more than once, and they are completely familiar with it. If so, then do it. The Blackbeard with sullen eyes, his face is full of madness, although the straight layout is the shock fruit, but now it is obviously not so easy to get, so, this special Linlin's soul fruit is undoubtedly a very good target for him. The dark fruit and the soul fruit are enough to achieve his status as the four emperors. It's not too late, then let's go, Captain. Captain number 4 Pizarro looked out at the sea and said gloomily, if he could kill the fourth emperor Charlotte Linlin, it would be the same for them. Very impressive record. Marineford, Marine Headquarters. At this moment, Momoshiki and Kaido of the Beasts are fighting more and more bravely, and the sky is like a doomsday. Between more than 100,000 marine elites and nearly 100,000 pirates was extremely tragic when viewed from the air. The corpses of marine and the pirates were piled up like mountains, and Kuzan Kizaru and the others did not take time to fight against all the remaining cadres of Kaido of the Beasts. Right here, above the walls of Marineford. An officer with the appearance of Rear Admiral, panting, shouted excitedly, Sengoku, Sama, something big. Something big has happened. Yanyan Wanghai and Charlotte Linlin started a battle ahead of schedule. Baizi, the captain of the Yanwang pirates, defeated the four emperors Charlotte Linlin, and even cut off Charlotte Linlin's arm. The loud scream, like a sound wave, spread from above the city wall in an instant. Sengoku was shocked when he heard this, and his eyes were fixed on the Rear Admiral. What did you say? The Yanwang pirates won, and the Captain Baizi actually defeated Charlotte Linlin, and even killed one of his arms. This is not only Sengoku, but also Kuzan Kizaru and many other high-level marine headquarters are also shocked. No one knows, but it's clear. All of them have the confidence to fight against Kaido of the Beasts. The biggest source is that another four Emperor Charlotte Linlin and Baizi and his party of Yanwang pirates shot. Many Marinefords were stunned when they heard the scream of the Rear Admiral's voice, and the fighting Marines and the pirates stopped. I'm obedient, what's the situation? The other four emperors, Charlotte Linlin, were defeated by the Yanwang pirates. It seems like that, and meow, it looks like that. Charlotte Linlin also had an arm chopped off. It's too powerful, it's crazy. Huh, even the fourth emperor Charlotte Linlin broke his arm, this is incredible. Ha ha ha, who cares, Charlotte Linlin can't make it today anyway, so, why does this side have an absolute advantage? The more than 100,000 marine elites were all excited. On the other hand, many pirates brought by Kaido of the Beasts were in low spirits, and even a few cadres lost their minds and suffered heavy losses on the spot. How could the four emperors Charlotte Linlin not be able to come? This news is like a bolt from the blue, hitting the minds of nearly 100,000 pirates and making a loud bang. How could it be like this? The reason why they are so confident is that their captain, like a god of war, is one of them, and the other is the four emperors Charlotte Linlin, who is an existence comparable to their captain, and now it is actually taken by that. The captain of the Yanwang pirates, Bai Zi, was killed. At this moment, in this situation, they couldn't believe everything they heard. Everyone was like this, and Momoshiki and Kaido of the Beasts, who were fighting fiercely in the sky above the Beizong Sea, also knew the news. Charlotte Linlin, that crap. Kaido of the Beasts, lungs are going to explode. Without Momoshiki, who is a powerful monster in front of him, he would be able to take Marineford by himself, but he never expected that. Momoshiki, who killed his powerful subordinate Yan Beast. The strength is actually tyrannical to such a situation. At this time, he was extremely convinced that although this Momoshiki's strength was weaker than his own, the difference was not much. But why was this? Why the newly promoted Momoshiki Admiral's strength in the Marine headquarters increased so much in such a short period of time? Chapter 105 You Can't Kill Me Anymore. In front of Marineford, above the sea. Hearing the news from below, unlike Kaido of the Beasts, Momoshiki's mouth curled up, and he knew that Guy would not lose. Now that it's over there, you can give it a go. Open black lens bracket Rokushiki, 6 styles Fungzon close black lens bracket. Endless sword intent poured into the sword, and just now Momoshiki exchanged experience with Bai Zi on the unknown island before, and at this moment sublimated the marine Rokushiki 6 King's Spear, and once again evolved the Zeon attack. Multiplying the fruit, the strength of the full 3 times sword to the limit in an instant, and a slash fell. Squeak. The clear and bright sound of the phoenix roaring pierced the air and swept away, and a phoenix slash formed by the sword glow of several hundred meters, instantly slammed towards Kaido of the Beasts, who turned into a dragon in front of him. Air vibrated, and Dao Jujian's blow instantly rushed to Kaido of the Beasts less than 100 meters in front. Not good. The sudden attack made Kaido of the Beasts look solemn. I saw that the dragons of thousands of meters in the air were connected end to end, forming an energy shield of dozens of meters around the body, and the sound of the dragon's roar rose to the sky. And in this room, Fengning and even, a loud roar. Kaido of the Beasts with the body of the 1,000-foot dragon was hit thousands of feet away by the unparalleled impact at the moment of the bang, and there is a huge body on the dragon's body. Scar, under this kind of injury, Kaido of the Beasts can no longer maintain the body of the dragon, and turned into a mountain-like body. Later, there is a scar on its mouth, and blood and water can't stop flowing from it, but the injury is not enough. Recovering at an extremely fast speed, the self-healing ability of the dragon fruit is also one of its anti-sky. However, Kaido of the Beasts' face turned pale. Opposite, Momoshiki, who had used the strongest sword, was not relieved, and immediately fell from the air, hitting the city wall with a bang. And immediately, poof, a mouthful of scarlet blood sprayed out. The tiger's mouth on both hands was on the verge of cracking, and the unparalleled stinging pain went straight to the mind from all over the body. A little while. Above the Marineford city wall, Momoshiki Admiral knelt on one knee on the opposite side, his face paled a bit, suppressed the rising blood, stood up and straightened his back. The effect of the recovery potion was stimulated to play out, with a very fast speed repairs the injury that has just been overloaded. The whole body's fighting spirit was rising one after another, and the entire Marineford's more than 100,000 marine elites were about to jump up with excitement. God of War. The unison sound wave that pierced the air rose into the sky, and the blood of more than 100,000 marine elites was completely ignited at this moment. This is their Momoshiki Admiral, the one who blocked the 4 emperors Kaido of the Beasts, and who opened the Kaido of the Beasts under the rage of combat power, after today, will definitely be famous in the whole world. Kaido of the Beasts, what is the concept of the existence of the 4 emperors? They haven't had such a beautiful battle in Marine for a long time, Momoshiki Admiral is too powerful. And the last blow or the ultimate mystery of Marine Rokushiki, which they are most proud of in Marine, using the Kaido of the Beasts, the 4 emperors that they slashed by Marine Rokushiki. Grandma drops. It turns out that the Marine Rokushiki they practiced so hard could actually develop to such a state, too amazing. Idols, myths, this is their guardian. Compared to Marine's excitement, the pirates on the opposite side are full of astonishment. How come? It was blocked, Captain Kaido was blocked, and it was still in the state of the dragon. Terrible, Marine's Momoshiki Admiral strength is really terrible, no wonder he was able to connect. Our boss Jin and Charlotte Linlin's henchman Katakuri. It's unbelievable how strong Marine Rokushiki, who Marine has been practicing, is so strong. We've always underestimated Marine's Marine Rokushiki, that's their foundation, how could it be simple? Yes, Marine has existed for nearly 800 years not without a reason. Many of the men brought by Kaido of the Beasts were in a state of ecstasy for a while, and the army was disillusioned, and there was no momentum to fight again. Kidding, it's a bit of a joke, their Kaido bosses are blocked, come out their Kaido bosses, who can stop Marine's endless admiral and vice admiral. Maybe, they will all be wiped out this time. The sudden change in the battlefield situation, obviously Kaido of the Beasts is also aware of this, at this moment his face is gloomy and terrifying. Now that there are no 3 major disasters around him, and there are no 6 suns in the sky, even the cadres have lost nearly half of them. The most important thing for the remaining cadres is that at this time, he really does not have full confidence in that. Momoshiki was killed, that guy's strength far exceeded his expectations. Damn, how could this happen? Kaido of the Beasts never expected to be in this situation now. If they continue to fight, their Kaido of the Beasts pirate group's last fortune will be wiped out. Kaido of the Beasts, whose eyes changed, did not have the determination to fight to the death, and with a wave of his hand, he ordered the remaining less than 100,000 men to retreat. Sengoku, this time I'll throw in Kaido of the Beasts, but... Kaido of the Beasts with narrowed eyes, staring at Momoshiki standing on top of Marineford city wall. Momoshiki, next time I will definitely kill you. If he was alone in Kaido of the Beasts, he would not be afraid at all. Even if he was defeated, he would be able to leave, but not now, here are all his remaining subordinates. If Marine was defeated, he would be true to Kaido of the Beasts. Has become a veritable polished commander. Kill me. Standing on the city wall, Momoshiki, the god of war, stared straight at Kaido of the Beasts, threatening gaze, you can't kill me this time, and you can't kill me in the future. I want to avenge your subordinates, Yanjajin and the 6 sons of the sky. I, Momoshiki, will accompany you at any time, but at that time, prepare yourself to be killed. The voice of the cold bird, like 1,000-year-old ice piercing the air, lingered on Marineford and the surrounding waters. Hearing many Marines and many pirates shivered, his mind seemed to have emerged in the near future. The scene where Momoshiki and Kaido of the Beasts fight again. Ha 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 ha, well said. Sengoku on the side listened to Momoshiki's extremely domineering words, and his heart was full of excitement, and he couldn't be conceited. He has never been so happy since he served as Marine Fleet Admiral. Really, a new generation replaces the old one, and the new generation is stronger than the new generation. It seems that my position as Marine Fleet Admiral will soon give way. Hey, I will come back. Kaido of the Beasts, who snorted coldly, left behind tens of thousands of cadres in the field, and left Marineford with less than 100,000 subordinates. This time, they and the 4th Emperor Charlotte Linlin returned with a bad luck. If this news spreads out, I am afraid that the 2 emperors will become the laughingstock of the New World. Bastard, damn, everything is that. Baizi of the Yanwang pirates, trash, Charlotte Linlin is a trash, was actually caught by the boy chopped off an arm. Bastard, please download Feilu's novel to read the underlined version of the novel. Chapter 106 The Fall of the 4 Emperors Charlotte Linlin. Marineford fell silent. Looking at Kaido of the Beasts and the retreating ships under the golden sunset, it is particularly confusing. Win. We won. Don't know, a voice resounded from somewhere among the more than 100,000 Marine elites in Marineford, and all of a sudden, like a magic sound, it pulled back many of the Marine elites who had fallen into a daze. Kaido of the Beasts is back. The 4 Emperors Kaido of the Beasts were defeated by Momoshiki Admiral. We won, ha 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 ha, we won, special mother, so cool. I didn't expect this to happen. I originally planned to die for Marine. Me too, I didn't expect Kaido of the Beasts to be beaten back by us. Thanks to Charlotte Linlin's absence this time, otherwise even if we barely win, I am afraid we will lose a lot. That's right, let's just say that. Baizi of the Yanwang Pirates is really a ruthless person who actually killed Charlotte Linlin with an arm. For a time, the entire Marineford was instantly filled with intense excitement and excitement in every corner of the air. As Sengoku ordered many Marines to clean up the battlefield, a defensive battle against Kaido of the Beasts was completed perfectly, and after Momoshiki's great display of power, I am afraid that no one in the whole New World would dare to underestimate them, for many pirates undoubtedly also a good deterrent. Even Sengoku is the same. Looking at the back of Kaido of the Beasts slumped back, his heart can't help but feel happy. It's so cool. This time, the battle with Kaido of the Beasts is tantamount to washing away the previous Whitebeard riot. The shame of Marineford is also the same. At the same time, they prove another thing to the people all over the world, that is, even if the 4 emperors of the New World are shot, they Marine will follow suit. But just when Marineford was immersed in victory, a conspiracy against the 4 emperors Charlotte Linlin was rapidly unfolding. Charlotte Linlin, who lost her left arm, has a face as pale as snow, her strength is inexhaustible, and her breath fluctuates. Now she not only lost her left arm, but also has a lot of injuries in her body. After all, he is not the same as Baizi. Restoration potion. Cough cough cough. The blood in his mouth was sprayed on the ground, and the 4 emperors Charlotte Linlin's breath weakened again. And just at the moment when the breath weakened, there was no sign of a few harsh sounds of Kai, and they instantly attacked Charlotte Linlin, who was dying. Looking for death. Charlotte Linlin didn't expect that such an unknown island would hide so many masters. She immediately forced the injury and used the mighty country again. Obviously, ordinary methods don't work for these people at all. Judging from the attack, these people's the purpose is obvious. It is to kill her. Could it be to delay the pirate group? Except for Baizi, Charlotte Linlin at this moment really can't think of his subordinates. Who knows her track? The strong offensive caused more than a dozen attacks to collapse, and at this moment Charlotte Linlin, who was almost like a bear commander, turned pale again, holding back blood. Clap 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 clap. Just after Charlotte Linlin pushed back the sneak attack, the crisp applause sounded from behind the rocks on the island, which was particularly harsh in the quiet environment. But Charlotte Linlin frowned. As expected of the 4 emperors Charlotte Linlin, in this state, I can force back the full blows of many of my captains. I admire it. As a voice came over, a figure also appeared in the field. Teach, you are. Seeing a man with a sinister face. Charlotte Linlin frowned. She had heard of the whole insidious and cunning villain. It is said that this person joined the Whitebeard pirates for the sake of Whitebeard and their dark fruits, and even killed Thatch, the captain of the 4th Division, and was on top. War wants to sneak attack on Whitebeard. It's just that this person was not smashed into the seabed by Baizi's thunder, and he actually appeared here. Hee, it seems that this captain is very famous. Charlotte Linlin of the 4 emperors knows him, but this time I came to you for one thing. As long as I get it, I will leave immediately. Looking at the prey, he stared at Charlotte Linlin. If he was in his prime, he wouldn't dare to look at him with 10 courage, but now, it's different. Losing an arm and getting injured is an absolute once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Something. Charlotte Linlin frowned slightly. Now the most important thing is to recover from the injury. If she can send this clown away, she will not be stingy. It's very simple. I'm just interested in the captain's soul fruit. Why don't you give it to me? As soon as these words came out, Charlotte Linlin's face suddenly sank, and his eyes were cold. Teach, you are courting death. The Emperor's sword breaks 5, blade. Soul fruit, how could it be given to him? Once the devil fruit is taken by the user, it will merge with the user. Unless the user dies, the devil fruit will not automatically separate. Teach's move was tantamount to killing her, and immediately Prometheus merged into it and attacked Teach. Looks like he doesn't want to. Open black lens bracket dark fruit devour close black lens bracket. The Emperor's sword, which was greatly reduced in power, slashed towards Blackbeard Teach, and immediately all around Blackbeard was swallowed up by black. When the Emperor's sword slashed into the dark fruit field, it instantly weakened at a visible speed, and finally dissipated into nothingness. Seeing the strange dark fruit ability, Charlotte Linlin's heart sank, apparently did not expect Teach to be able to decompose his attack. Hey, did you see it? This is one of the abilities of my dark fruit, Devour. I used this trick to easily defeat Ace. Speaking of which, I'm still the King Shichibukai, but I believe it won't take long for me to make the new 4 emperors, and you Charlotte Linlin will be the past. It's ridiculous, you just want to replace me with a few trash fish, dreaming. Immediately Charlotte Linlin made a ruthless move again, and seeing Charlotte Linlin wanting to counterattack, Blackbeard immediately ordered, everyone will do their best. Kill her in the shortest time possible. After speaking, Teach pushed the dark fruit to the extreme, covering the entire island in an instant, and the blood that Charlotte Linlin had flowed out was swallowed by the dark fruit. Teach, give me death. Immediately after the rumbling, the whole island roared with thunder, and the monstrous battle started again, but at this moment Charlotte Linlin was obviously like a trapped beast still fighting. 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It lasted for nearly half an hour before the sensation on the island fell, and then there was a dong, and a huge one-armed body slammed to the ground, blood gurgling. No money poured out from the mouth of Hungarian, and a dark devil fruit appeared in the hands of Blackbeard. This fruit is nothing else, it is the soul and soul fruit of the 4 emperors Charlotte Linlin. As for the existence of the 3/3s of Thundercloud Zeus, they were shivering and watched by many officials of Blackbeard. So far, the 4 emperors Charlotte Linlin have fallen, and all their forces have been destroyed. Chapter 107 _ You want to scare us to death. In the Battle of Marineford, Marine became famous in one fell swoop, among which Momoshiki Admiral became the god of war for countless Marines. The overwhelming news is like countless crucian carp crossing the river. Fishman Island, Mermaid Cafe. Hey, have you read today's paper? Marine is really in the limelight. Yeah, I didn't expect that. Momoshiki Admiral is so powerful, directly hard steel Kaido of the beasts. That's not it, we still can't believe that there are still people in the Marine who can make the 4 emperors undefeated. Where is the undefeated? It is clearly the last Kaido of the beasts dare not fight anymore. Tisk tisk, Grandma, that. Momoshiki Admiral of the Marine headquarters, is this the rhythm of suppressing an era? People in the cafe, while holding snacks and drinking coffee, discuss the big event in Marineford. Sitting on the bar seat, Mrs. Shiarly, who was reading the newspaper, also showed a look of surprise. This Marine headquarters admiral, who had fought on Fishman Island before, had such a terrifying strength. It seems that the Marine headquarters has produced an incredible admiral this time, which is more than a point higher than the Garp of the year. Listen to Neptune, Lord Byzee and the others also went to sea. I don't know what the situation is now. Before Mrs. Shiarly's murmur ended, the Mermaid Cafe banged a bang, and an employee in the shop broke in from the door, his face full of surprises and excitement. Mrs. Shiarly, something big, something big. The employee hadn't even entered the door, but the voice had already come in. When he came in, everyone's eyes were focused on him, and the eyebrows were filled with suspicion and surprise. What happened? I'm in a panic. Could it be that Master Byzee and the others have news? The appearance of the always stable employee, Mrs. Shiarly frowned slightly and said, It's Lord Byzee. Lord Byzee, they have something serious. The employee swallowed his saliva and said excitedly, "Mrs. Shiarly, you don't know, while the Marine headquarters, Momoshiki Admiral and the 4 Emperors Kaido of the Beasts were fighting fiercely, in another sea area, Lord Shirazawa, war with the 4 Emperors Charlotte Linlin." Boom, boom, boom. There are no clouds in the sky, and the explosion of a thunderbolt from the blue slammed into the minds of everyone including Mrs. Shiarly. In that instant, everyone in the Mermaid Cafe was stunned. A short while, everyone in the coffee shop stood up in shock. All of them were dumbfounded, and a heart couldn't stop raising their throats. The war is on. Lord Baizi and his Yanwang pirates, along with the 4 Emperors Charlotte Linlin, my god, are attacking Marineford at Kaido of the Beasts. And why didn't Charlotte Linlin go to Marineford? Because they were with their Yanwang pirates. The team battle, I'm a goddamn. So fast, we started a war with the 4 emperors, and then thinking of the importance of the Yanwang pirates to their Fishman Island. At this moment, all eyes are all uneasy gathered on the employee who came to report the situation. Seemingly aware of the expectations and anxiety of the surrounding guests, the employee had a bright smile on his face, and said in surprise, "If you say it, you don't believe it, you don't know, Master Baizi is so amazing." At the same time as the Marineford battle, Lord Baizi's pirate group and Charlotte Linlin fought a monstrous battle. It is said that countless sea kings died in the entire sea area. In the end, Lord Baizi and the others won, and they won a big victory. As soon as this statement came out, the hearts of everyone present couldn't help twitching for a moment, and the next moment was occupied by a strong excitement. Victory! I'm not dreaming. Lord Baizi and the others defeated the 4 Emperors Charlotte Linlin. Ha ha ha, Lord Baizi is too powerful, that's the 4 Emperors Charlotte Linlin, just doing it like this, it's too powerful. As expected of the guardian of our Fishman Island, so strong, really strong, Charlotte Linlin, that's it. Master Baizi was able to defeat Charlotte Linlin. Doesn't that mean that Master Baizi is now enough to compete with the 4 emperors and become the 5th emperor in the New World? Isn't it true? I can defeat Charlotte Linlin, so if I can't become the 5th emperor, I really don't know who else in the whole New World has this ability. Excited, proud, surprised, etc. All kinds of emotions were displayed on the faces of everyone in the Fishman Cafe at this moment. Their Lord Baizi defeated Charlotte Linlin. Doesn't that mean that in the future, no one will dare to invade their Fishman Island? You must know that Fishman Island is the headquarters of Lord Baizi. Whoever wants to do this will definitely be impatient. This is more than, do you know the ending of the war between Lord Baizi and Charlotte Linlin? You probably don't even think about it. The employee thought about the news from the latest newspaper, and the whole person has been in a state of excitement since the first time he saw the news of the newspaper. And didn't we win? Isn't it as simple as we thought? Come on, you want to scare us to death. That's right, it's really hard to imagine what will happen to Charlotte Linlin if Lord Baizi takes action. Without waiting for Mrs. Shiarly's urging, the entire Fishman Cafe was blown up, which made Mrs. Shiarly's Vivi, who was about to speak, stagnate, looking at the scene in front of her. She was filled with emotion. Quietly, has Lord Baizi's prestige reached such a level? It's really terrifying. I am afraid that the King Neptune of their Fishman Island is far from having such influence, let alone her. The employee was urged by everyone. His face was flushed abnormally, and his body was full of excitement. I heard this news. To be honest, I haven't recovered yet. You can't imagine that Lord Baizi and Charlotte Linlin fought, and finally with a sword that surpassed that of the great swordsman, Shirakawa-sama directly cut off the left arm of the 4 emperors Charlotte Linlin, and Sir Baizi was finally punished by lightning, and Charlotte Linlin, 7 or 8, Wan's pirate subordinates and cadres were directly destroyed by half, and there were more than 30,000 people. When Mrs. Shiarly's employee said this, everyone was dumbfounded, even Mrs. Shiarly's expression was stunned, and her face was full of confusion. Cut off the 4th Emperor Charlotte Linlin's left arm and turned over half of Charlotte Linlin's subordinates and killed more than 30,000 people. Oh my god! The 4 Emperors Charlotte Linlin was beaten so badly by their Lord Baizi, I am darling, as expected of their guardian, Tet Meow is amazing. Chapter 108 Luffy vs. Captain of the 4th Division. As soon as he said it, all four were shocked. This is, Sama. Cut off Charlotte Linlin's arm, destroy half of her subordinates with a backhand, more than 30,000 people, Mamma Mia. I seem to have seen the scene of more than tens of thousands of Hody Jones's subordinates dying under the thunder of Lord Baizi that day in Joel Cordo Square. The combat power guarded by Baizi is as invincible as ever. Amazing, Mama, I want to be a big pirate like Baizi-sama when I grow up. In the cafe were all boiling in an instant, even some children were stunned for a moment, facing the adults beside them seriously, blinking their big eyes, and talking excitedly, while in the hearts of these children, is to bury the dreams of one pirate, one who can become a generation of big pirates like Baizi-sama in the future to protect their Fishman Island and protect their hometown. Mermaid Cafe, there was a lot of discussion, and the faces of many guests couldn't help but be full of excitement and excitement. Everything here is seen by Mrs. Shiarly, who is prophesying. Quietly, Mrs. Shiarly's mind came to the scene of Baizi and his party coming to the Fishman Cafe for the first time. At that time, she used prophecy to present the prosperous future of Fishman Island. The island is rapidly moving towards prosperity and prosperity at a speed she could not have imagined before. The prophecies that I have seen are really about to come true. The title of the 5th Emperor, their Lord Baizi, is about to be realized. The arm of Charlotte Linlin, the 4th Emperor, was cut off, and it was only a matter of time before he became the 5th Emperor. Meanwhile, a street in Fishman Island. See Gao Yi, it's amazing. Ace's captain has defeated the Big Mom pirate group, Charlotte Linlin has had an arm cut off, and it must be very enjoyable to play with him. Nami heard that, without the slightest temper, she immediately punched Luffy on the forehead. Sanji and Zoro were speechless. Compared to the victory of the Yanwang pirates, what Zoro cares about most is the swordsmanship published in the newspaper that surpasses the great swordsman. A swordsmanship more powerful than Hawkeye. The original opponents were Hawkeye and Marine Headquarters Admiral Momoshige, but now it seems that there is another Baizi. Nami. Wow, ha ha ha, look, that's the headquarters of Ace and his Yanwang pirates. It's so grand and big. When Nami was speechless, she heard Luffy's surprised voice coming from the side. In the next moment, Luffy, who was doing things with the rubber fruit, stretched his arms and directly slammed the high point of the gate of the Yanwang pirates, and was about to enter. Armament open black lens bracket Renkyaku, Tempest kick close black lens bracket. Before Luffy started to move, Marine Rokushiki Renkyaku, Tempest kick burst out from the inside of the Yanwang pirates, piercing the air. A hurry, Luffy loosened his arms and returned to the original place again. In front of the Yanwang pirates, Luffy and his party saw a terrifying ditch, showing just that. That armament Renkyaku, Tempest kick effect. So strong. This guy will Marine Rokushiki. And Zoro immediately stepped forward and stared at the person opposite the Yanwang pirates who appeared in front of the door of the Yanwang pirates, Kuro Star, the captain of the 4th Division of the Yanwang pirates. He is also the one who guards the headquarters this time. It's that Captain Shirasawa's subordinate who dragged Kuzan from the top. Wow, ha ha ha, great opportunity. I want to see how strong the captain like Ace is. As soon as he finished speaking, before Nami and the others could react, Luffy had already hit him with a rubber fist. Armament open black lens bracket rubber pistol close black lens bracket. An extremely fast fist appeared in front of Kuro Star in an instant, and it slammed into it immediately. Open black lens bracket iron block close black lens bracket. The extremely skilled Marine Rokushiki used by the star of Kuro easily blocked Luffy's blow, since the shot, then Captain Luffy will also take my blow. Open black lens bracket squeeze moisture close black lens bracket. Luffy, who was still alive and kicking at the last moment, immediately turned into a sluggish look, but immediately used Gear 2 and 2 decisively, falling into excitement and getting rid of the limitation of Kuro Star. Open black lens bracket rubber rocket close black lens bracket. Immediately, Luffy, who was out of the sluggish state, immediately started to fight back, but he was instantly dodged by Kuro Star's shaving, and in the original position of Kuro Star, there was a huge deep pit. Sanji Zoro looked at each other and looked at the very skilled Kuro Star used by Vice Admiral Marine Rokushiki, a method that few people in Marine can do. Open black lens bracket rubber bullet. The first blow failed, and Luffy struck again, and was still easily dodged by Kuro Star, as this the proud younger brother of the captain of the 2nd Division 2 of Ace, and his strength is the same. Oh, the third gear. By the Kuro Star, Luffy immediately bit his thumb and blew air into the bone gap. Open black lens bracket rubber giant pistol close black lens bracket. Immediately, Luffy's right hand instantly became huge, and with armament's blessing, he slammed towards the opposite Kuro Star. And the battle here, the more people from the surrounding Fishman Island came to watch, they wanted to see who dared to run wild in front of the Yanwang pirates. Ah, this is Luffy from the Straw Hat Pirates. He is the younger brother of Ace, the captain of the 2nd Division of the Yanwang Pirates, Luffy. Is this what they shouldn't be friends? How are they discussing? No matter how I look at it, it feels like it's coming true. The captain of the 4th Division of Lord Shirazawa, Lord Kuro Star. I didn't expect Lord Kuro Star to be so powerful. Yeah, the opposite is the grandson of the hero Garp, Luffy. Of the surrounding Fishman Island stared at the field with wide-eyed eyes. Although Luffy's reputation was not as loud as Bai Z's, it was also extremely good, and the bounty was as high as several 100 million. That's Kami-e. It's the hardest Kami-e among Marine Rokushiki. In the crowd of Fishman Island, a voice sounded out of nowhere, and everyone who heard this voice all turned their attention to Kuro Star. Looking at the body hesitantly, it was like a paper, showing an arc that human beings can't bend at all, and very skillfully dodged Luffy's giant pistol. This guy. Of Sanji Zoro's mouth twitched. This person named Kuro Star is much stronger than the top war, and even Marine Rokushiki's Kami-e is so skillful. It's just that they know that Kuro Star did this, how many times he was beaten by Bai Z, and the process of learning Kami-e. To be honest, there are many times that Kuro Star has a kind of, the urge to die. Bang 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 Luffy's various third-level tricks came out frequently. The giant battle axe, giant whip, and giant rocket launcher lasted for half an hour before the battle subsided in the field. Luffy also returned to normal state, full of excitement. Looking at Kuro Star, it's amazing, isn't Ace that amazing too? Chapter 109 Ryokugyu's Sanji Duo. The Yanwang Pirates, the square in front of the gate. At this moment, it has been ruined by Luffy's various third-level tricks, and there are pedestrians in the surrounding Fishman Island, all of them are dumbfounded. My darling, that rubber man Luffy's strength is terrifying. The square has been destroyed beyond recognition. Yeah, an absolutely devastating battle. No wonder this guy was able to faintly compete against Kuzan Admiral in the war at the top. This strength is really extraordinary. I didn't expect Master Bai Z to be able to compete with Luffy as a team leader. It's amazing. Luffy scratched the back of his head and giggled when you were talking and complaining, and the series of battles also made Sanji Zoro tickle, and he immediately took a step forward to shoot. Sanji Zoro, please advise. Hem. The two made a sound at the same time, and immediately turned their heads to look at each other, filled with the color of not giving in an inch. The Kuro Star on the opposite side frowned slightly. After all, these people are Ace's friends. If something happens, it's not good. Ha ha ha, fighting, I like it the most. You don't have to be humble, let's go together. Suddenly, a sound came from above, and the next moment, it was the dull sound of dong, like a thunderous explosion, piercing the air and wafting around. The dust settled, and everyone looked around. Another tower-like man appeared opposite Sanji and Zoro in the field, and the people of Fishman Island who saw this figure were shocked. Ryokugyu. That's right, it's none other than Ryokugyu, the vice-captain of the Yanwang pirates, who went to war to overthrow the existence of a Kainu admiral, and was also the ruthless man who killed Smoothie, the third dessert general of the four emperors Charlotte Linlin. The most important point is that he is a complete fighting maniac. That's right. As long as there is a place to fight, he is indispensable. On that day, if Bai Zi hadn't shot first, he would have rushed up to fight the four emperors Charlotte Linlin. Just because he looked anxious, Ryokugyu had been suffocated these days. It was just a provocation. From Z Fujitora Isho to Jinbei and others, everyone took care of him. Not only did he come back and saw someone fighting Kuro Star in front of their headquarters, he immediately jumped out. Deputy Captain of the Yanwang Pirates. Ryokugyu. Zoro and the two saw Ryokugyu, the corners of their mouths twitched, and their eyelids jumped wildly. The shadow of the famous tree, this guy is definitely a ruthless character, no, to be precise, a violent man. But now that the words have come out, they are gone. Open black lens bracket first meet close black lens bracket. Marine Rokushiki and Moon Step used one after another, sticking to armament hockey with extremely hot feet, kicked Ryokugyu's neck, and the attack came instantly. However, bang! Sound. A dull sound came, and Sanji, who was going to the extreme, was immediately hit by a punch from Ryokugyu, and there were faint sparks flying, staggered, and Ryokugyu stepped back half a step, while the opposite Sanji was spinning in the air. After several laps, it stopped and fell back to the ground. VV's right foot was aching. This guy. At this time, Sanji's face was unprecedentedly solemn, because the strength just now was too strong. He moved his muscles and bones, and gave Zoro a careful look at the side. 36 Troubles Wind. No. With the slightest sluggishness and contempt, Zoro slashed out in an instant, and the sword slash swung at high speed instantly appeared in front of Ryokugyu. So fast, it's almost in the blink of an eye. Collapse. Facing the 36 troubled winds from Zoro, Ryokugyu slapped the sword wave to pieces, and his eyes fell on Zoro, who was twitching at the corner of his mouth. The move is good, but the strength is too weak. As soon as Ryokugyu grasped Zoro's 36 troubles, everyone around him was stunned. Oh my god. Janbo was directly crushed by Ryokugyu-sama, this strength. Awesome, too powerful, bounty hunter Zoro's 36 troubled winds were broken so easily. Unbelievable, unbelievable, I'm not dreaming. The strong Ryokugyu-sama is worthy of being the vice-captain of the Yanwang pirates. This strength is not comparable to the captain's. Listening to the discussion of the people on Fishman Island, Ace's face was full of bitterness. Ryokugyu pushed him up. The two of Luffy's subordinates, I'm afraid it will be difficult to end today without suffering. Captain of the 2nd and 2nd Division of the Yanwang Pirates, of course, he has fought with Ryokugyu more than once, and he has nothing to say about his temper and fighting style. Open black lens bracket Ikiao Lu Juhei Lion Song close black lens bracket. Leng Yu's voice came from Zoro's mouth, his hands covered the armed hockey, even the sword he was holding, the sword flashed and passed by in an instant. Banquet table leg meat kick. When Zoro sent a sword, Sanji didn't stay idle, appeared behind Ryokugyu in an instant, and attacked Ryokugyu's feet directly. Between the two is tacit understanding, one after the other, very tricky. Facing the front and back attack, the corner of Ryokugyu's mouth curved up, and his right foot stomped on the ground. Immediately, with a bang, a substantial ripple appeared. The next moment, Zoro's sword Ryuii and Sanji's leg kick were all hit by an invisible force. The aura is stalemate. Immediately, he slapped Sanji with his backhand, and directly fanned him out more than 10 feet away. You should go all out, otherwise you will not be his opponent at all. As Luffy's sworn eldest brother, Ace doesn't want Sanji Zoro to be too embarrassed, he just wants the battle to end soon. Hearing Ace's voice, Sanji Zoro glanced at each other with a flash of determination. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket 360 trouble wind close black lens bracket. that pierced through space came in an instant, gathered at one point, and attacked Ryokugyu's abdomen. If it were an ordinary person, he would definitely explode and die. Open black lens bracket Rokushiki iron nugget close black lens bracket. Where the two attacked was instantly covered by the iron blocks of marine Rokushiki, and there was a loud roar. There was a thunderous vibration at the intersection of Ryokugyu and Sanji Zoro. Hunting sounds. In the surrounding Fishman Island could feel the strong wind blowing from the field. Without waiting for Sanji Zoro to react, two casserole-sized fists slammed directly at the two of them. Fast speed, instant arrival. Whoosh. People reacted again. The bodies of Sanji and Zoro had already appeared 20 feet away, and in front of them, there were black marks that were more than 10 feet away, which were very conspicuous on Baizi's square. Chapter 110 All martial arts in the world are invincible, only fast is invincible. 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. After a full quarter of an hour, the fierce battle on the field stopped, but Sanji and Zoro were already out of breath. As for Ryokugyu, who was still in a state of excitement, the judgment was made. Ha 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 ha, happy. If there is such a good thing in the future, I, Ryokugyu, will always be there for you. A fight. Ryokugyu, who was so refreshed, laughed up to the sky, very satisfied. Hearing this in Sanji Zoro's ears, the corners of his mouth twitched as he stepped on a horse. After this time, they would never discuss with this big man again. It was simply a one-sided crush. Look, Lord Baizi and the others are here. In the crowd of onlookers, a voice sounded out of nowhere. Immediately, everyone looked around and saw Baizi and Fujitora Isho coming from the direction of Ryugu Castle. The local residents of Fishman Island on both sides of the street were excited. Worship is no good. This is their Lord Baizi, their guardian, their hero and myth. Wow! Lord Baizi is so handsome and charming. I feel in love. If I have a boyfriend like this, I can wake up laughing in my dreams. But I can feel the pressure. The captain of the first team of Lord Baizi is the female Emperor Boa Hancock, the first peerless beauty of the pirates. I envy the female Emperor Hancock to be with Lord Baizi every day. Me too. The chirping voices of the people around, listening to the ear of the Empress Hancock. I don't know why there is something strange in my heart. This is a feeling I have never had before. As time goes by, Hancock finds that she is more and more dependent on Baizi. As for why, she can't say. Of course, she will never know that there will be a demon contract in the world that should not appear in this world. Jinbei looked at his hometown, the respect of many people for the captain. The best is to bend the arc of relief. Now the captain's strength is comparable to the four emperors. I believe that it will not be long before Mrs. Charlie's prophecy will come true. The real prosperity of Man Island has officially begun. Wahaha, Mr. Baizi, I, Captain Luffy of the Straw Hat Pirates, challenge you. Seeing Baizi, Luffy jumped into the field, stared at Baizi Empress Boa Hancock and Fujitora Isho, who were walking across from him, and fixed his eyes on Baizi, challenging him. When Nami Chopper heard this, she was so frightened that she almost fainted, and Usopp and the others were also full of fear. What did they hear to challenge Baizi, the captain of the Yanwang pirates? Are you crazy? Is the captain crazy? This is the ruthless man who defeated the four Emperor Charlotte Linlin abruptly before, and even cut off one of his arms. This is no different from courting death, although Baizi won't kill Luffy because of Ace's relationship. You sure? Luffy, who most wanted to be the fifth emperor, appeared in front of him. The corner of Baizi's mouth twitched. To be honest, he also wanted to know how powerful the protagonist Halo Luffy is now. When? Of course, but get over me first. Just as Luffy was about to speak out, Zoro, who had been beaten out of breath by Ryokugyu before, was full of fighting spirit, and the peak of the swordsman's fighting spirit soared, and he appeared in front of Luffy first. I heard that your swordsmanship is superb. I would like to see it. Soon as the voice fell, the sword intent that soared to the extreme burst out. Open black lens bracket 3000 worlds of three swords flow profound truth close black lens bracket. Biao's sword intent. At this moment, was like a rocket, and the inexplicable Zoro's attack at a certain moment reached the level of a great swordsman. As soon as the strike was cut out, the white sword light hit instantly. Just as the sword light was about to approach, there was a sound of breaking the air. I don't know when a simple and unpretentious sword light came up to meet Zoro's sword light, and instantly break through it for a while, and in the next moment, there is a crisp sound. The demon sword Guido held in Zoro's hand was learned in two, and it fell to the ground with a clatter, making a crisp sound. This broken, how can the demon sword ghost be like this? Looking at the broken blade in his hand, Zoro's eyes were full of disbelief. He believed that even the great swordsman Mihawk would not have broken his ghost with just one blow. Cut off with one blow, this guy. Zoro's eyes were round, and his face was full of astonishment and disbelief. He couldn't believe what he was going through. Not just Zoro. Of the Straw Hat Black Thief were all wide-eyed, their eyes filled with stunned eyes. Zoro was one of the three most powerful captains, and now even his most beloved ghost after being cut off. The impact was no different from a cannonball blessed by one armament, slamming into their minds fiercely. Thinking High One, the captain of Ace is so powerful, is this the ruthless man who overthrew the four emperors? Charlotte Linlin, it turns out that his savior is so powerful. Luffy's mouth widened and he stared at Bai Zi with wide eyes. He was a man who aspired to become One Piece, king of pirates, and the guy in front of him would definitely be his strong competitor in the future. Luffy, this kind of person is not something we are waiting for, let's go. Usopp's calf twisted, completely shocked by the scene in front of him. The same is true for Chopper and Nami, but it is clear that Usopp's shock has no effect on Luffy at all. At this moment, Luffy's eyes are full of fiery fighting intent. However, Zoro in the field at this time was completely shocked. It was the sudden and tyrannical sword intent that made him feel the extreme despair. What kind of sword intent was that? Even Mihawk didn't give him that feeling. Why? Whose face was full of confusion, and Kitaru, who stared blankly at the ground, questioned the dream of becoming the most powerful swordsman in the world for the first time in history. Can I really defeat this guy in front of me? Glancing at Zoro, who is only a line away from the realm of the great swordsman, I have a good impression of this guy who is persistent in kendo, and he said with a deep meaning, the world's martial arts are invincible, only don't break it. And among them, the way of swordsmanship is also the same. The swordsman is the king of 100 soldiers. He walks lightly, but he is fierce, and his spirit is like a dragon, and he is as fierce as a fierce tiger. The swordsman is even more skillful. Of the twilight drum and the morning bell resounded in Zoro's ears, and his whole body was instantly shocked, as if he had broken through some kind of bottleneck and shackles. Even Fujitora Isho, who was good at using knives, was thoughtful, and it was obvious that Bai Zi's words also touched him quite deep. A little while. Voice fell, and Zoro in the field was still in a sluggish state. 1 second, 3 seconds and 5 seconds. It seemed that he was in a state of epiphany. Rising, in an instant, it broke through the peak of the previous swordsman, and still increased, yeah. This is the momentum of the great swordsman. The green algae head has become a great swordsman. Who was struggling to get up, looked at the aura around him in disbelief, which made him feel extremely dangerous. He had only felt this kind of sword stance on Mihawk. When Zoro fought against Mihawk, he almost didn't die in the hands of that guy. Great swordsman. As soon as Sanji said these words, everyone's eyes immediately focused on Zoro. Immediately, the eyes that looked at Bai Zi once again changed. This guy is too powerful. With just a few words, Zoro entered a state of epiphany, and a generation of great swordsmen was born out of nowhere. Chapter 111 Zoro's Apprenticeship, Luffy's Provocation. Yanwang Pirates, in front of the headquarters. When Sanji spoke, everyone was stunned, and the local residents of Fishman Island were even more stunned. What did I hear? Just now, Sanji Kurozu of the Straw Hat Pirates said that Zoro became a great swordsman. Isn't he it? And it is said to be related to Lord Bai Zi, My god, I said that. How did Zoro's aura become so strong? Great swordsman, it is said that the King Shichibukai Mihawk is currently at this level. In this way, a new great swordsman was born today. Lord Baizi is too powerful. The state Zoro was in before was like a legendary epiphany. Surrounding Fishman Island, all of a sudden, the sound of chatter pierced the air, agitated, spreading around, and more Fishman Island people all boiled. Great swordsman, what kind of existence is that? Now they only hear about the King Shichibukai Mihawk, and the newly promoted Marine Headquarters Admiral Momoshige who came to attack their Fishman Island before. Ruthless man. The great swordsman, these three words alone are intimidating, and it is enough to protect the existence of one party. The most shocking one is Zoro himself. Great swordsman, once upon a time, that was the height that he had always pursued, and now he has achieved Zoro with a solemn look like this. Only at this moment did he realize the terrifyingness of the White Sea in front of him, and just a few words allowed him to break through the threshold of the peak of swordsman. If you were Zoro, who was almost paranoid about kendo, he would immediately kneel in front of Baizi with a plop. Very solemn and sincere, Mr. Baizi, please accept me as your disciple. One day, I will definitely defeat you in swordsmanship. Soon as Zoro said this, everyone around him, including the Straw Hats, were dumbfounded. Nani and the others are not mistaken, this is apprenticeship. And the target is the extremely arrogant Zoro, a man who is determined to become the most powerful swordsman in history. They never imagined that this scene would happen. Ryokugyu watched the scene on the field, and the corners of his mouth twitched. Although this green algae head was not his opponent, he was able to reach the peak of a swordsman at this age, which is enough to show his extraordinary swordsmanship. This green algae head. Sanji was smoking a cigarette, his chin was about to fall to the ground, his hands were trembling, the cigarette was almost not caught. The shock in his heart couldn't be more. Just kidding, if such a strong man was worshipped as a master by Choromedu, then he would still be able to. There is a day to come. Appreciation. Zoro kneeling in front of him, Baizi was stunned by Vivi for a moment. He obviously didn't expect such a thing to happen. Nonsense, if there is a great swordsman apprentice, it would be quite good. Hey, Captain, since this green algae swordsmanship. If you beat you in attainments, why not give him this chance? Ryokugyu, who was afraid that the world would not be in chaos, Hihi Isho, echoed. Yes, Daijinhao's apprentice, anyone is qualified. The female emperor, Hancock, also spoke aloud, her beautiful eyes looking at Baizi with a look of admiration. Ryokugyu and Hancock, the others also cheered up one after another. If this matter spreads out, it will definitely cause a sensation in the whole new world. The apprentice of the great swordsman. Mihawk's level, this Nima, absolutely shocked the eyes of countless titanium alloys. Moreover, what is even more interesting is that this green algae head threatened to surpass Baizi in swordsmanship. This may be so many ways he agreed with Baizi, who was so in line with Baizi's wishes. He nodded, reluctantly, and said, if that's the case, then fine. Till the day you can beat me with swordsmanship, then. The day you graduated. Soon as this voice came out, the corners of Fujitora Isho and others' mouths were twitching. Surpassing the captain is afraid. This Zoro will never be possible in this life. Hey, Mr. Baizi, it's not good for you. Zoro is me subordinates. Now I'm going to challenge you. The nerve-wracking Luffy, instead of restraining himself, squeaked, looked at Zoro. Zoro, look, I beat this guy, you don't have to take him as a teacher. Ace, hearing Luffy's words, Ace's eyelids twitched, and he hurriedly stepped forward to stop him. He knew too well how terrible the captain was. Luffy's challenge to Captain Baizi was absolutely no different from looking for abuse. Ace, you get out of the way, don't pull me. Luffy finally broke free from the speechless Ace, came to the arena, stared at Baizi. You are the benefactor of me and Ace, I will let you do a trick. Sanji, Nami Chopper and the others are all holding their hands on their foreheads, as if we don't know this guy. As for Ryokugyu and the others, they looked at the boy of the Straw Hat Pirates with great interest, and challenged the captain. Is it because they thought it was not long enough? Oh yes, Accepting Zoro as a potential apprentice, Baizi was in a good mood, and his eyes fell on Luffy, who was most likely to become One Piece King of Pirates if he didn't show up. I heard that you are immune to thunder, and you defeated the self-proclaimed one on Sky Island. For the god Enel, it just so happens that I can also use the power of thunder. Then I will only use the power of thunder. If you can support 10 strokes and 10 Zoro's apprenticeship in my hands, this is the end of the matter. Baizi, who spread out his hand, rose up. In his hand was the power of thunder that was extremely rich. That kind of thunder, no matter its color or power, is obviously far from what Enel can match. Hearing Baizi's words, Luffy became even more energetic. That's what you said. Of course. The corner of Baizi's mouth showed a radiance, but it was Luffy who heard the definite answer, and his fighting spirit soared. This is what you said, let's start. After he finished speaking, Luffy turned on gear 2 and 2, steaming all over his body, and watching Baizi on the opposite side. Bang! Just after Luffy finished speaking, the preparation was over, and in the next instant, it turned into a meteor and crashed into a building more than 100 meters away. At the position where Luffy was standing, the ghostly figure of Baizi already appeared. Thunder, one punch knocked Luffy, who had yet to react, by more than 100 feet. Is this the ruthless man who cut off an arm of the 4th Emperor Charlotte Linlin? It's amazing. Usopp's eyes widened. He had no idea what was going on, and Luffy was directly knocked into the air. This thunder ability was many times faster than the Enel they met on Sky Island. Is this the power of the 4 emperors? It's too scary. Luffy is too far behind. One move. Baizi raised a finger and looked at Luffy, who looked like a little beggar in ragged clothes more than 100 feet tall, and said with a smile. So strong. Luffy felt the thunder rushing all over his body. This feeling is completely beyond Enel's ability, and his own rubber fruit is not immune to thunder. At this moment, Luffy is completely solemn. The strength of the 4 emperors, this is the first time he has faced. It turns out that Shank's strength is so strong. 3rd gear. Without the slightest hesitation, Luffy soared directly to the 3rd gear, and a battle was about to begin. Chapter 112. Luffy was crushed unilaterally. Fishman Island. Not far from the Yanwang pirates, a young man with short wavy blonde hair approached. Listening to the heated discussions of the local people on Fishman Island, his expression froze. Luffy, who was in the 3rd gear, the corners of his mouth twitched, and his forehead was full of speechless colors. That guy Luffy, doing something again. To challenge the 2nd leader. The young man shook his head bitterly, looking at the letter and the appointment and dismissal certificate in his hand. The deep smile of the leader Long Huimo before he came to his mind, and he couldn't help shivering. Who is about to become the 5th emperor, to serve as the 2nd leader of their revolutionary army? This absolutely shocked many cadres of the revolutionary army at the time, but no one dared to question Long's vision and pattern. After all, the dragon is facing the existence of hard steel with Tenryubito and Marine, so the pattern of the mission is not. They can understand. And the person who came to deliver the letter was none other than Ace and Luffy's sworn brother, Sabo, the current 2nd in command of the Revolutionary Army. The 2nd in command and the 2nd leader are 2 completely different concepts. This is the difference between a leader and a subordinate. Moreover, the leader Long John has already written this letter, and the reason why it is handed over to Sabo now is for nothing but waiting. This opportunity is the opportunity for Baizi to become the 5 emperors. It can also be regarded as a way back for the Revolutionary Army. What Sabo did not expect was that the first scene he saw when he came to Fishman Island was the battle between the good brother Luffy and the leader. Long time no see, Luffy must have grown a lot. Open black lens bracket rubber grizzly gun close black lens bracket. Instant, armament, hardened rubber giant rocket launcher suddenly attacked Baizi from the air, and Sabo's eyes were full of differences when he saw the use of such abilities. I didn't expect that since the top of the war during this period of time. Luffy's strength has grown so much, armament has used it to such a degree. Only this level can win while the leader. Regarding the thoughts in his mind, Sabo said that it was completely impossible. If so, his own leader would be too incompetent. Sure enough, Baizi calmly looked at the sky-covering grizzly gun that was attacking from the opposite side. The thunder in his hand shone. The thumb, index finger and middle finger were at an angle. A claw covered with thunder came up, and the corner of his mouth curved into a radian. Open black lens bracket thunder close black lens bracket. Without the slightest hesitation, he poured the thunder that was integrated into armament into Luffy's grizzly gun, and the sizzling sound instantly filled the entire grizzly gun that covered the sky. The deity's Luffy's eyes widened, his eyes filled with disbelief. Under the power of thunder, Luffy stood upside down with 12 trillion sweat pores all over his body, just like a human-shaped hedgehog. Was sour, it could only be understood and cannot be described in words. The next moment, Luffy shot up into the sky, and he was stuck on the plaza with a thud. It was like there was an 18th magnitude earthquake, and Luffy was smashed on the spot. 1 second, 5 seconds, 10 seconds one lasted a full half a minute, and the staggering Luffy recovered from the numbness. The eyes that looked at Baizi were full of fear and jealousy, and soon they were filled with excitement. How could I fall here? I am determined to become a pirate. Yangtian shouted, and immediately seeing that the third gear was not an opponent, Luffy directly bit his arm and shouted, "Fourth gear on." With bloodshot eyes, Luffy's body was full of arrogance, and in an instant, a diamond-like bouncer appeared in front of everyone's eyes. This person was none other than Luffy in fourth gear. Under the fourth gear, Luffy's strength is full. That he has not yet fully mastered. The speed is faster than the second and second gears, and the strength and defense are stronger than the third gear. Open black lens bracket rubber king gun, close black lens bracket. Under the fourth gear, he vomited and indented his body, and the sound of smashing the air swept away, and the next moment appeared in front of Baizi. The speed was so fast that it was no more than 0.1 second. This attack is that Ryokugyu's eyes are full of light, and this level of strength, he likes it the most. Haha, a good attack. Looking at the attack that erupted, this power is vaguely capable of threatening the admiral level, but it is really not enough to see him. It's just too slow. Immediately, Baizi's right hand stuck out, and the next moment, a giant palm of thunder energy formed more than 100 feet in front of Baizi, and instantly slapped towards Baizi who was attacking Xiaobudian. And the huge palm was shot at Luffy's 8th King Spear under the fourth gear. On top, without the slightest hesitation, Luffy immediately turned into a cannonball and crashed into the ground, leaving a hole, and that's not all. The aftermath of the thunderous palm slammed on the square, and the earth and stones splashed in an instant, and the energy was crowded. The clothes of the people around the square were not moving without the wind, and the strong wind squeaked. A single blow is so terrifying. Die. Open black lens bracket rubber great 8th King gun, close black lens bracket. A loud roar, Luffy, who came out of the hollow, immediately used an upgraded version of the King 8 spear in the air, adding chi to his muscles, and the huge King 8 spear instantly covering the sky, slammed his head towards Baizi with a bang. A little while. The huge thunder palm reappeared without any hesitation. Another shell smashed towards the ground with a loud roar. A hole several times larger than before was shot into the ground, and the entire square trembled as if it had been sunk. The corners of everyone's mouth twitched and their eyelids twitched wildly. This is riding a horse, there is a battle of mutual learning, and it is clearly a one-sided killing. Sabo looked at the thunder palm with dull eyes, and seemed to understand the reason why the leader tried to invite Baizi to join, although their leader Long was very strong, but there are not no people in this world who can defeat him, even kill him. Perhaps, Baizi is the leader chosen by the leader. Ah. Open black lens bracket rubber king crow cannon close black lens bracket. Tang tang, Luffy slammed into the air, his fists retracted into his body, and he immediately beat Baizi who had knocked him out twice. The overwhelming 8th King Spear attacked Baizi, facing the overwhelming attack, Bai Zi murmured. "It's time to end." Immediately, his right hand turned into a fist and smashed towards the attack that came forward. The instant the thunderous giant fist formed in the air, the whole sky was filled with the sound of thunder, and it rushed away with a terrifying attack to the extreme. Bang 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 bang, and then 3 consecutive attacks landed on the thunder giant fist, like raindrops falling into the water. Except for the spots and ripples, there was no response. Instant, under the horrified eyes of everyone and Luffy, he slammed his head on it. Bang! Sound. Luffy instantly smashed into the building thousands of meters away, and then slipped to the ground, releasing the 4th gear, unconscious, if not gasping. Nami, Chopper and others really thought their captain was dead. I knew it was the result. Ace twitched his unnatural lips. His eyes fell on Bai Zi, and he took a deep breath. This was their invincible captain. Chapter 113 _ The second leader of the Revolutionary Army. Thunder Giant Fist shocked the 4 poles. Sanji and Zoro sipped their mouths, but they didn't react for a long time, especially Zoro, who just worshipped Bai Zi as his teacher, was extremely horrified. Too strong. Only use the power of thunder to kill Luffy in seconds. You know, he still has the shock fruit, the gravity fruit, and the ultimate interpretation of Marine Rokushiki's ultimate meaning. This time, I am afraid that they are not weak among the 4 emperors. Sabo, who is not far away, stared blankly at the scene of Luffy being madly abused. His eyelids jumped. I am afraid that even the leaders may not be able to defeat the second leader. It's no wonder that the second leader can cut off an arm of the 4th emperor Charlotte Linlin. Around Fishman Island, many people were also stunned. Is this the strength of Lord Bai Zi? It's too powerful. Yeah, with the power of thunder alone, he killed Luffy, who was making a fuss at the top of the war. Terror, it's really terrible. It seems that the 4 emperors Charlotte Linlin was not wrong to have one arm cut off. That's not it. I guess it's hard to win even if the 4 emperors show up, Lord Bai Zi. With Lord Bai Zi and the Yanwang pirates here, I'll see who dares to bully us in the future. Hey, I have a hunch, the prosperity of our Fishman Island is coming. Master Bai Zi, our guardian, our eternal myth. On this day, the entire Fishman Island was immersed in excitement. And in the Yanwang pirates' headquarters, in the living room. Sabo, long time no see. Ace looked very happy when he saw Sabo, who met for the first time after saying goodbye. Yes, long time no see, but I have a mission today. Sabo nodded to Ace with a smile, and then his eyes fell on Bai Zi. Mr. Bai Zi, please forgive me for calling you the second leader abruptly. Second leader, a title from Sabo, even when the expressions of Ryokugyu, Ace and the others in the living room froze. This title came out of Sabo's mouth, and it was like a thunderbolt resounding in everyone's mind. Whoever was present did not know that Sabo was the chief of staff of the Revolutionary Army, the second in command. And he can call him a leader, except for Luffy's father, that. The dragon of the Revolutionary Army, there is no second person. It's just that they really don't understand these 2 leaders. Could it be that Bai Zi has joined the Revolutionary Army? Seeing everyone suspicious, Sabo is also bitter. To be honest, when the leader said this decision, I was also very surprised, but the leader said that Mr. Bai Zi will understand after reading this letter. While speaking, Sabo carefully took out a letter and a certificate-like object from his pocket, and handed it to Bai Zi. He has never read this letter, and if the leader reads it, he will never read it. Opening the envelope, Bai Zi looked up with a slightly upright expression, allowing Sabo to come in person to show his sincerity, which has already demonstrated the importance of this letter. Following Bai Zi's reading, the entire living room fell into silence for a while. Took about a few minutes to read the letter, and Bai Zi also knew the reason why Long's trip made Sabo come, and he did not expect that the current situation of the Revolutionary Army was also very bad. Because according to the account of this letter, the reason why Long came to Bai Zi so urgently was because, just half a year ago, when he returned from a mission, he faintly noticed that there was a presence that was so powerful that he could not imagine it. He secretly spied on him, and he did not expect that the person was probably the highest tenor of Tenryubito, and the ruler of the world government. I am an extremely mysterious existence. Although that person in the dark didn't make a move, the dragon could sense that if that person made a move, the dragon would probably have a life-threatening situation. It was also from then on that the dragon started to take matters into his own hands. He originally wanted to hand it over to Sabo, but although Sabo's ability was good, his strength was still too weak. The current scene. Say it was an invitation was more like a plea. After all, if one day Long was assassinated by a mysterious man, the revolutionary army would definitely be destroyed. Long couldn't think of it. If he passed away, who would have the ability to provoke him? This burden. Therefore, after various screenings of character, behavior, temperament, and his own strength, in the end, Baizi and their revolutionary army are the most appropriate. After a little. In that case, I promise. Thunder flashed across Baizi's palm, and in the next instant, the letter turned into ashes and fell with the wind. In this world, apart from the revolutionary army leaders Long and Baizi, no one else in the world knew what was written in it. As soon as these words came out, everyone in the Yanwang pirates in the living room, as well as Nami and others, had their brains bursting. To the second leader of the revolutionary army. This is incredible. Fujitore's heart skipped a beat when he heard these words. With a quiet heart, he woke up again. Revolutionary army, Monkey Dragon, a legendary man. And, he is also the first in the world to stand up against Tenryubito, against the existence of the world government. Among them, the most important thing is that he is very aware of the kingdoms and cities captured by the revolutionary army. People's life is completely different from the life under the world government marine. In the field of the revolutionary army, there is no so-called class stratification, and there are no nobles and slaves. It is a world where everyone is equal. And that kind of people's life, isn't that what I only pursue? Really? Great, the leader really saw the wrong person. Seeing that Baizi accepted the so-called certificate, and agreed to this matter, he immediately bowed and stepped forward. Sabo, Chief of Staff of the Revolutionary Army, has met the second leader. A solemn appearance. Sabo has never done this to anyone except for the leader of the Revolutionary Army, Long. Okay, this matter has to be kept secret for the time being. After all, I won't miss the fifth emperor's seat. Baizi said with a laugh, this matter is finalized, the Revolutionary Army will definitely become its own force in the future. Dealing with the world government and Tenryubito will have another big boost. Yes, second leader. Sabo respectfully said yes. As for the identity of the outside world, it is not too important. After all, the current dragon is enough to deal with the war of the world government. Contrary, the two leaders maintain their identity here and can easily do more things. Ace and the others, who were stunned, took a long time to react. Fact, the news just now was too shocking for them. The second leader of the Revolutionary Army, and he still defeated the fourth Emperor Charlotte Linlin, and cut off her arm by Z. If this news spreads, it will definitely be the whole new world was turned upside down. Chapter 114_Red Hair is coming. Revolutionary Army, second leader. This news is like thunder in the sky, banging in everyone's ears, and their minds go blank. Marine headquarters and Tenryubito's henchmen are in serious trouble, as if they were stuck in their throats. This is unbelievable. For a time, the entire hall fell into an unprecedented silence, and even their own breathing could be heard clearly. Right in this, bang. A bang, the door of the hall was pushed open, and a terrified member of the Yanwang pirates came in from the outside. The captain of the ship has a big problem. The red-haired pirates appeared outside Fishman Island, saying they wanted to fight with each other. The member of the Yanwang pirates swallowed his saliva to suppress his shock. When he received the kid from their detective, he was stunned on the spot. The four emperors' red-haired shanks came to fight, that is the four emperors. Although their captain defeated the four emperors Charlotte Linlin, but now that the red-haired shanks is attacking, he is really startled. As soon as these words came out, the whole living room was immediately shocked, and all eyes focused on Baizi. Before red-haired Shanks knew, Baizi was the 14th cadre of Captain Red-Haired Shanks. The most shocking star in the living room was Kuro Star, because he joined the red-haired pirates with Baizi. Became an intern, and now, after a long time, the captain has grown to the level of red-haired Shanks. Oh, is Captain Shanks here? I thought it would take some time. Since that's the case, it seems that the throne of the 5 emperors will be brought forward. Baizi heard that. He was indifferent to Isho, and he was only a little bit concerned about the red-haired Shanks' intentions. That's right. It's just to build momentum. Hee, let's go, follow me to meet the red-haired captain. Maybe after today, the Yanwang pirates will be the 5th emperor of the New World. Bending a radian, he turned into a thunderbolt, and the next moment he appeared at the door of the living room, and then headed out of Fishman Island. As for why the red-haired Shanks chose to be at sea, the reason is very simple. With the fighting power of the 4 emperors, if the battle is fought on Fishman Island, the entire Fishman Island will be wiped out. Words came out. Ryokugyu couldn't help but get excited. As for Nami and the others, their pupils suddenly shrank. This is going to fight the 4 emperors' red hair. Tisk tisk, Charlotte Linlin used to be the 4th emperor, but now she has red hair again. The 5th emperor of the New World has been seated. If Luffy knew about this, what would happen? Let's go too. The battle at the level of the 4 emperors must be very exciting. While talking, Ryokugyu and his party, who left Chopper Usopp, headed out of Fishman Island. Meanwhile, the Red Hair Pirates. Hey, I didn't expect this new 5th emperor to be the 14th cadre on our ship. Baizi is really powerful. That guy from the 4 emperors Charlotte Linlin was defeated by him. What's more, that guy cut off one of Charlotte Linlin's arms. With such a record, he is the 4th emperor on the same level as our captain. 3 kinds of devil fruit abilities. I really don't know where that guy got it. Earthquake, thunder and gravity, any of them are top-notch existences, so the 3 appear in the same person. Their combat power is not as simple as 1 + 1, its future support is likely to be inferior to Whitebeard. Many cadres of the red-haired pirates sighed with emotion. How long did it take? In less than half a year, the interns on their ship have grown to the point where they are now, and they are definitely the biggest evildoers they have ever seen. Smoking a cigar on the bow of the boat, looked at the direction of Fishman Island, and smiled at the red-haired man beside him. How about Shanks, are you sure to win the current Baizi? I can't talk about it. 5 to 5.5. 5, let's do it. Ben Beekaman, he breathed a sigh of relief, and a gleam of light flashed in his eyes with a curved corner of his mouth. That kid is not easy now. The 4 emperors Charlotte Linlin have all had an arm cut off. I don't dare to be careless. The red-haired Shanks' eyes were full of solemnity and prudence. If Baizi had a 90% chance of winning before, but now he has experienced the battle of the 4 emperors Charlotte Linlin, his chance of winning is also 50%. The arm of Charlotte Linlin, who is also the 4th emperor, even if he succeeded, he would have to pay a small price. Oh! With such emphasis, it seems that there will be a wonderful battle next. Ben Beckman laughed as he looked at the tumbling waves, and his heart was also solemn. Obviously, this was the first time he was so afraid of a person from the red-haired mouth, although this person was the 14th cadre of their captain a few months ago. On the other hand, the fact that the red-haired Shanks went to Fishman Island quickly spread to the whole new world like a plague. Whitebeard pirates, Moby Dick. Goo la 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 la. The red-haired boy actually went to Fishman Island. It seems that he can't wait for the peace of the 4 emperors. He wants to be the 5th emperor of Baizi Xiaoyu. Whitebeard took a sip of strong wine and poured it on his chest. The wine stains. Listening to the information obtained by the 5th Division Captain Foil Vista from the newspaper, he laughed. I really didn't expect that Mr. Baizi and the 4th Emperor Charlotte Linlin really got into a relationship and cut off her arm. Marco's dull eyes in the past were also shining at this moment. Awesome, Mr. Baizi's 5th Emperor's seat is now The Four Emperors Charlotte Linlin has become one-armed like the redhead. I am really looking forward to seeing another wonderful picture of another one-armed Four Emperors next time. Charlotte Linlin lost an arm, and her combat power will definitely plummet. I am afraid that many people in the New World will challenge her again. Eyes of many squad leaders shone brightly, and their expressions were very excited. Their benefactors of the Whitebeard pirates could become the fifth emperor of the New World, and they were really happy for him. More importantly, Mr. Baizi's captain of the 2nd Division of the Yanwang Pirates, but their brother Ace. New World, an island. Nazawa Tavern. The pretty tavern proprietress widened her beautiful eyes and held the newspaper in her hands with trembling hands. Her eyes were full of horror. This. He actually defeated the Four Emperor Charlotte Linlin, my God. Nazawa felt her feet were softening as she walked, and her mind was roaring. That guy had grown to such an extent that at this moment, she could still recall the scene when Baizi was outside her tavern, destroying the three pirates. Who is the Four Emperors Charlotte Linlin? That's the god in their area, Kaido of the Beasts, the same level of powerhouse, who was actually defeated by the one I saw. Baizi, and also killed an arm. And it doesn't stop here. More importantly, at this moment, the Red Hair Pirates are going to openly fight against the Yanwang Pirates, that is, Baizi. Remind you. Chapter 115 Conqueror Hockey vs. Boom. In front of Fishman Island, above the sea. Captain, Baizi and the others are here. Kadri of Shanks saw a soaring flag of a ferocious 5-clawed dragon in his field of vision. Sure enough, I saw the Yanwang pirates approaching from the direction of Fishman Island. Many Kadris and members of the Shanks ship looked at the ferocious dragon rising in the wind in the distance. Their thoughts were flying, and they were filled with emotion. This is the Yanwang pirates, Baizi's ship. It's really unusual. Yes, there was a time when Captain Baizi was just one of our Kadris. I never imagined that I would not see him for a few months, but he has grown to such a state. No, but it's excusable. After all, Baizi's Kadri's ambition is not something I can compare with. Hey, by the way, you said that we Captain Shanks and Baizi fight. Who will win? It's hard to say. If I had thought it was our Captain Shanks before, but now, not necessarily. Never mind, it's not a life and death battle. Don't forget that the purpose of our visit is to build momentum for Baizi. If Baizi becomes the 5th emperor of the New World, then our red-haired pirates will be even more embarrassed. Numerous Kadris and members were chatting hotly. Ben Beckman looked at the approaching boat and laughed at the red-haired Shanks. It's been a long time since I've seen you. It's really emotional. I was a hairy boy at the beginning, but now I have grown to a level that I can't match. It seems that I am getting old. Ben Beckman Beebe shook his head. If this sentence was known to the outside world, it would definitely set off a hurricane. Who is Ben Beckman? That is the deputy captain of the Red Hair Pirates, the most advanced fighting force other than the Red Hair Shanks, and the person who replaces the Red Hair to exercise the captain's rights if the Red Hair is not on board. A little while. The two sides meet. Is this my father's captain? Usopp's eyes were round, staring at the red-haired Shanks on the deck, but he didn't find his father Usopp, and there was a little loss in his eyes. It can be said that all the way he went to sea, what he most wanted to see was his father, and to get his approval personally, and the reason why Usopp didn't come was because he was left by the redhead to guard the headquarters. Red-haired Shanks, Luffy's Guide to the Sea. Nami, Chopper Sanji and the others also fixed their gazes on the ship ahead, the one-armed man with a short beard. That man was the red-haired Shanks of the 4 emperors of the New World. A man full of legends. Originally an intern on the Roger ship, after not seeing him for several years, he has become one of the top beings in the pirate world pyramid. Even Whitebeard Kaido of the Beasts and Charlotte Linlin are extremely fearful beings. However, compared to the red hair, when their eyes fell on Baizi, they were even more shocked. The red-haired Shanks took several years to complete the achievement, while Baizi only took a few months. The time has been shortened 10 times. It can be said that Baizi is an accelerated version of the rise of red hair. The time is shorter and the speed is more evil than the rise of red hair. If the rise of red hair is strange, then the rise of Baizi that is a miracle that no one can understand. Since the era of the great pirates, no one has been around, and it took only a few months for a pirate to go from obscurity to standing on the top. Now, it has reached a level that is comparable to that of the four emperors. Captain Shanks, long time no see. Baizi, who was standing on the deck, looked at the opposite deck. The one-armed man above smiled slightly. From the red-haired body, Baizi felt a more dangerous aura than Charlotte Linlin. Yes, long time no see. Seeing Baizi's greeting, the red-haired gentleman Isho also revealed, like chatting with friends whom he hadn't seen for many years, but apart from that chat, between the two of them, there was no more. Even a trace of sound. Because everyone knows very well that there will be a world-shattering battle here next. And the chat at the moment is just the calm before the storm. More precisely, they don't have the energy to distract it, because all attention is focused on the upcoming battle. Baizi glanced at Ben Beckman and the others, and landed on the four Emperor Shanks again, and a confident voice rang out, "You don't have to keep your hands in this battle. As you wish." The smile on the red-haired face faded away, his eyes flickered, and he looked at Baizi again, and his fighting spirit soared. "I haven't seen you for a few months, let me see how your Conqueror hockey is applied." Booming voice fell, with the red hair as the center, the dark red Conqueror hockey immediately pressed towards Baizi with the coercion that covered the sky. Although it was said to be accurate, the dark red hockey of the aftermath caused many cadres and the crew was horrified. The dark red Conqueror hockey that covered the sky came crashing down, but he saw Baizi and different Isho on the opposite side. He did not speak, but expressed his actual actions with actions. There was no sign of it, and immediately a stream of hockey, who was not weaker than the red-haired Shanks and dark red, directly attacked without any hesitation. The next moment, bang, a dull sound exploded, and the two developed the top-notch Conqueror hockey, and they collided on the sea in an instant. In the field where the Conqueror hockey collided, a wave of more than 100 meters was instantly set off. You know, this is just the aftermath of the Conqueror hockey confrontation. Captain Baizi is so powerful. Is this really our former cadre Baizi, Conqueror hockey, who has developed to such a degree, is like Captain Shanks? No wonder Baizi was able to defeat the fourth Emperor Charlotte Linlin and cut off one of his arms. It's terrible to be hit like this. If I was hit by this blow, I'm afraid I would be seriously injured. Many cadres and members of the red-haired pirates looked straight. They couldn't imagine that a guy who had been missing for only a few months now became so terrifying. The red hair is like this on this side, but Ryokugyu and Sabo on the other side are also shocked. Fortunately, Ryokugyu and others have seen the battle with the four emperors Charlotte Linlin after all, and Sabo and Nami are looking at the eyeballs are broken. Is this the strength of the second leader, Conqueror hockey facing the red-haired Shanks of the four emperors? Such strength, I am afraid that it is comparable to their leader Dragon. Sabo here, more and more feel the decision of the Dragon that's right, with such an existence serving as the second in command of their revolutionary army, even if Momoshiki Admiral rises like a comet, it's no longer a threat. Damn, last time the captain fought against the four emperors Charlotte Linlin was useless. Ryokugyu murmured, and Fujitora Isho and the others were also shocked. When they fought against the four emperors Charlotte Linlin before, they had never seen the captain use hockey. In this way, the captain of the four emperors Charlotte Linlin and the others still kept their hands thinking of this, and many of the squad leaders and members of the Yanwang pirates were all in constant shock. Chapter 116 _ The Great War, open black lens bracket Rokushiki, 6 styles katakana middle dot ray close black lens bracket is now available. Above the sea, hundreds of feet of waves crashed down. Ha ha ha, good. As expected of the 14th cadre of my red-haired pirates, so the use of Conqueror hockey is definitely not weaker than mine, it seems to be more important today. Speaking, the red-haired Shanks took off the famous sword, Griffin, he was wearing from his waist, and his slanted fingernails glanced at Baizi. The whole venue fell into silence again as Shanks said these words, only the sound of seawater roared. Baizi defied gravity and appeared at a height of more than 100 feet, facing the Yanwang pirates and his party behind him. For the next battle, you should step back 1,000 feet. Came to Baizi in the Beizong void. Lang Ran's voice came out. Yes, Captain. Hearing Baizi's order, the helmsman turned around immediately, as if the Hiyori four emperors were fighting against Charlotte Linlin, and quickly came thousands of feet away. Because they know very well that the next battle will definitely shock them. Hee, you guys should go too. Rokushiki Moonstep, which was developed to the extreme, in a flash, and in an instant he came to the Beizong void, and directly walked in the air. Such means, if seen by those marine elites, they will definitely be shocked. It turns out that the Rokushiki Moonstep can still be like this. About half a minute later, within 1,000 feet, Bai Zeshanks and the two stood opposite each other above the sea, and the momentum around their bodies was rising, and they kept colliding between them. Zhang, dozens of Zhang ocean waves rise and fall one after another, galloping endlessly, all caused by the two people in the void of hundreds of Zhang. Of the momentum alone has far surpassed the level of Admiral. Everyone thousands of meters away could clearly feel the breeze blowing, and the clothes of Baizi and the red-haired Shanks in the arena moved even more when they heard the wind, and were blown by the strong wind. Quietly, Baizi's whole body was full of thunder, and half of the sky was covered in an instant, as if the god of thunder was alive. The attitude of destroying the sky and destroying the earth, compared to the previous crushing Luffy, I don't know how many levels. Gouda, Nami Chopper, Frankie and the others all swallowed their saliva subconsciously, thinking about Luffy's utter nonsense at that time, that is, the scene where he was crushed in the fourth gear, and looked at the field again, if he was white at the time. Z has the intention to kill Luffy. I am afraid that at this moment Luffy has already gone to hell. Strong. Too strong. Especially Zoro, who was cut off the ghost. His eyes are completely dull at this moment. Is this the master he just worshipped? Although he has entered the ranks now, but the two in the field in front of him, he will definitely be killed by a single move. Is this the strength of his cheap master? Can he really defeat him? And today is an excellent opportunity to see his master clearly. After all, according to legend, the red-haired Shanks is also a sword house presence. Zoro was full of energy and stared at the field without blinking. Gap. That's right, he wants to see how big the gap is between himself and Baizi, the cheap master he worshipped now. Breeze was blowing, and finally, at a certain moment, the battle to cover the sky kicked off in the expectation of everyone. In that case, Captain Shanks takes me a punch. Above the sea, Baizi's voice fell and his figure disappeared in a flash, and he reappeared and came to Shanks. Less than 100 feet, open black lens bracket Rokushiki, 6 styles Thunder Dragon close black lens bracket. Rumbling punched out, and immediately the whole sky behind Baizi trembled, and the endless power of thunder gathered on Baizi's right fist. A loud roar slammed into the red-haired Shanks. As soon as this move came out, it really scared the many officers and members of the Red Hair Pirates, all of them staring at the sea area with dull eyes, the figure like a thunder god of war. This is the Marine-style ultimate mystical Zeon derivation attack. Before Marine Headquarters Admiral Momoshige used Rokushiki, 6 styles Feng Slash, and now Baizi has also used a figured move, but the power is much stronger than Momoshige Admiral. Rokushiki, 6 styles, Thunder and Dragons. I'm a good boy. What kind of evildoer is this to develop Rokushiki, 6 styles to such a situation? Terrible, terrible. Nyang Exapi. Fortunately we are not Baizi's enemies, otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. Hey, what do you guys think if Charlotte Linlin and Kaido of the Beasts, who had an arm chopped off, see this scene? With this attack alone, Baizi's strength is definitely at the level of the 4 emperors, there is no doubt about it. I'm darling, Thunder Dragon, this is the Rokushiki, 6 styles of a special mother, do you want to be so cocky? This move is too terrifying, it seems that today we Captain Shanks will do our best. Rokushiki, 6 styles Thunder Dragon, which is not weaker than the power of the 4 emperors, the red-haired Shanks did not dare to be too big. Armament hockey, who was endlessly developed to the extreme, was instantly entangled in the famous sword Griffin Pa cut. Slashed with one blade, and instantly collided with the Rokushiki, 6 styles Thunder Dragon who rushed forward. Roar. Sing. The sound of the dragon roar and the sound of the sword chirping intertwined, rising above the battle between Baizi and Shanks, and then spread to all directions, instantly reaching the ears of everyone thousands of feet away. The deafening sound resounded between the entire heaven and earth in an instant. Under the collision, there was more than 2,000 feet of sea water below, and it rose into the sky. The scene in front of me was caused by a fight, more like a world-destroying catastrophe when the terrifying creator descended on the world. More than 2,000 meters of sea water instantly photographed the two people fighting in the air. Thick sea water, if it is photographed, it may be directly buried in the sea. Open black lens bracket gravity barrier close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket imperial / close black lens bracket. Two soft shouts swayed from under the sea water of more than 2,000 feet. In the next instant, Baizi became a restricted area of sea water within a radius of 10 feet, and the red-haired Shanks on the other side was also cut off by the endless sea water within a radius of 10 feet. Empty. Crash. The sea water of more than 2,000 feet, like a giant palm covering the sky, fell from the sky in an instant, and the piercing sound waves instantly burst like a lion roar in the east of the river, without the slightest sign. A moment. Everyone thousands of meters away suddenly felt a tinnitus. In the arena where everyone observation hockey covered the battle, they couldn't see a single point clearly at this moment, and they were all destroyed by the super strong combat power of the two. The sea area under the two of them, let alone a sea king, is within a radius of 1,000 feet, and even a mayfly has been strangled, it has become nothingness. Within the 1,000-foot sea area where the two are fighting, it has completely turned into a sea of death. Chapter 117 _ all the mayflies were strangled. The Yanwang pirates, on board. Looking at the monstrous waves and the magical powers of Baizeshanks and the two, Ryokugyu, eyes lit up with excitement, while the Empress Boa Hancock and Nami were all speechless. And, it doesn't stop there. At this moment, with the shocking battle, many people on Fishman Island, thousands of feet away, are also watching with binoculars from a distance. It's a fight, Lord Baizi and the 4 emperors' red-haired Shanks are fighting. A Fishman Islander with binoculars trembled with excitement, because the roaring sound in the distance could be clearly heard here. As soon as this statement came out, many people who were watching were excited to the public, and among them, Mrs. Xiarli, King Neptune of the Dragon Palace Kingdom, 3 princes of Shark Star, and even Princess Shirahoshi appeared here. Of the red-haired Shanks, which shook their Fishman Island too much. Moreover, this battle was very important to the Yanwang pirates, and it was also the same for their Fishman Island. The fate of their Fishman Island can be said to have been completely bound to the Yanwang pirates. One prosperous, all lost. How about Shirahoshi, what is the specific situation over there? Neptune looked at the battle in the distance through the telescope in awe, and Mrs. Xiarli also followed her eyes. Shirahoshi can communicate about the Sea Kings, and she knows it, but she did not know that Shirahoshi is one of the 3 ancient weapons. Sea King Poseidon. But it was Shirahoshi at the moment, with a pale face, completely stunned by the recovered information. It's scary, so scary. Shirahoshi, whose pretty face was pale, stared at the sea in front of him with beautiful eyes. What's the matter, what happened there? Shark Star saw Princess Shirahoshi's pretty face turning pale, and knew that something terrible had happened in the field. Brother Shark, just when the team of Lord Baizi and Captain Shanks retreated thousands of feet, the two just started to fight with dark red Conqueror hockey, and then Lord Baizi played Rokushiki, 6 styles Thunder Dragon, a blow with Captain Shanks caused waves of more than 2,000 feet to rise across the sea. When Princess Shirahoshi said this, Neptune and Mrs. Xiarli were shocked. What does it mean to be more than 2,000 feet? From here, although the tide is very high, it doesn't look like this figure at all, more than 2,000 feet. Their Chang'er Kaduo Square is only more than 50 feet in diameter, and more than 2,000 feet is dozens of times that of their square. Meow, how high is that? No, Rokushiki, 6 styles Thunder Dragon. King Neptune seemed to have thought of something, and his face suddenly changed, and he looked at Princess Shirahoshi excitedly. Shirahoshi, you are sure you heard it right? The Rokushiki, 6 styles Kiki Rokushiki, 6 styles Thunder Dragon heard by those sea kings. No wonder Neptune is like this. Of course he has some understanding of this Rokushiki, 6 styles who often dealt with marine before. The reason why he decided to bet the future of Fishman Island on Baizi and them. One of them is because of Mrs. Shiarly's prophecy, and another reason is that he is very clear about what it meant when Baizi was able to use Rokushiki, 6 styles on the top, and now he hears the upgrade and derivation of Rokushiki, 6 styles again. Attack, just imagine how Neptune wasn't shocked. Well, that's right. That's what the sea kings in that sea area said. Princess Shirahoshi nodded her pretty little head with certainty, like I was sure. Father, what's wrong? What is this Rokushiki, 6 styles Thunder Dragon? Why have I never heard of it? Seeing Neptune's shock, Prince Shark asked a few people who were equally suspicious. I've heard of Rokushiki, 6 styles somewhere. Maybe it has something to do with marine. Mrs. Shiarly heard it. She frowned and said something. It's more than related. The so-called Rokushiki, 6 styles is a move that will be awakened and used when marine Rokushiki is performed to the extreme. It is Momoshiki Admiral, who is highly promoted by marine, and is another person who can use Rokushiki, 6 styles. In the Battle of Marineford, a Rokushiki, 6 styles Phoenix Slash caused countless marine elites to go crazy, and that Phoenix Slash is the Rokushiki, 6 styles upgrade move awakened by Momoshiki Admiral, stronger than Rokushiki, 6 styles. As for Baizi-sama's Rokushiki, 6 styles Thunder Dragon, it is different from Momoshiki Admiral's Rokushiki, 6 styles Phoenix Slash. After all, Thunder Power is Logia's most destructive ability. If it is combined with Marine Rokushiki, 6 styles together, the power it exerts is definitely many times stronger than Momoshiki Admiral. Quote. Along with Neptune's eloquent words, including Mrs. Shiarly, the 3 Sharks brothers, Shirahoshi and others all looked stunned, and once again looked at the world-shattering war in the distance. Their eyes changed. Rokushiki, 6 styles Thunder Dragon. That move is so powerful, it's terrible. Such a terrible attack. Did the 4 emperors red-haired Shanks, 4 Emperor Shanks take over? What was the result? Mrs. Shiarly withdrew her gaze and asked in a shrewd voice. Hearing Mrs. Shiarly mentioning the result, Shirahoshi shuddered all over, and looked deeply in the direction of the battle. Go ahead, 4 Emperor Shanks will go next. As for the result, after Lord Baizi and the 4 Emperors Shanks fought each other, all the creatures in the radius of the 2 were strangled in an instant. The sea kings who provided information to me before were also strangled in an instant. They became minced meat. Neptune. Mrs. Shiarly et al. Meat foam. No, the aftermath of the 2 is so strong, it is unbelievable. Before Neptune and Mrs. Shiarly have the next step of horror, Princess Shirahoshi's voice came out again, and not only sea king species, that is, mayflies and other creatures in the ocean, were also strangled, empty. It can be said that within a radius of 1,000 feet, except for Lord Baizi and the 4 Emperors Shanks, there is not even a single living being. Even if the seabed of 10,000 meters is so booming in a message, it explodes in everyone's ears like thunder. All the mayflies were strangled. I am a god in the air. Mayflies, that is, a tiny existence with super vitality. What's more terrifying is that all the creatures in the deep sea of 10,000 meters were wiped out by the aftermath of the battle between the 2. This is appalling, absolutely appalling. It's terrifying. Master Baizi and the others' battles are terrifying. With just one blow, thousands of sea kings died within 1,000 feet, and the mayfly creatures are as high as billions. It's a catastrophe. Thousands of sea kings have died unexpectedly. More than 1 billion mayfly lives have died in Wongquan, and the mother is greedy. How many murders have been made, and they are dying. Chapter 118_Fight to a draw. Above the sea. More than 2,000 feet of waves crashed down, and the harsh sound waves made people tinnitus. Thousands of meters away, the people who came back to their senses all looked at the arena. At this moment, Baizi stepped back more than 10 meters and stood in the air. Under the blow from the opposite side, the red-haired Shanks also retreated more than 10 feet, in the void of 100 feet. No match. The two fought each other again, killing the quartet. Looking at the situation in the sea, the two sides were secretly stunned, staring at the field without blinking. Of the four emperors is rare in a century. It's amazing. The red-haired Shanks above the sea felt the huge force that just came, some kind of full of brilliance. I haven't seen you for a few months. Has it grown to such a degree? No wonder even Charlotte Linlin is planted in you. In hand. However, the warm-up is over, so be careful next. The solemn-looking Shanks, the griffin in his hand hummed, as if resonating with Shanks. The dark red Conqueror hockey burst open, and the ultimate armament covered the entire famous sword griffin. That's not all. That is, at this moment, Shanks' eyes flashed brightly, and the sword energy all over his body was arrogant. In an instant, he reached the peak level of a great swordsman, and he was 1 point stronger than Mahak. However, this is just the beginning of the great swordsman level sword intent breaking through the limit in an instant and continuing to soar. Zoro, who was thousands of meters away, shrank his pupils and stared at Shanks, who dominated everything above the sea, beyond the great sword master's sword intent. This is the true swordsmanship of Shanks. The attainment surpasses the level of a great swordsman. The power of a great swordsman who surpassed him like him. Just holding the knife in his hand, his eyes are full of determination, he must defeat him. Baizi, be careful. The red-haired Shanks raised the momentum of his body to the extreme, looked at Baizi who was opposite and reminded him aloud, and then, without stopping, severing. Griffin swung out a knife, and the sky was shattered, and 1,000 jong knife light slashed through the void, slashing towards Baizi. Such a blow, I am afraid that Admiral will be seriously injured. The sea boils and the sky changes color. Wherever the 1,000 jong sword light has passed, everything has been turned into a vacuum. With such a move, the whole new world can take over no more than one person. Of the red-haired pirates looked solemn. The heading is the captain's trick. It's serious, this is even the trick, can he stop Baizi? The captain used this attack to challenge Kaido of the Beasts and Charlotte Linlin, and forced them to shut up. The captain's stunt to become famous for the four emperors, look at Baizi's move. A crew member of the red-haired pirates screamed in shock, and Baizi, the target of the 1,000 jong sword strike, moved. I saw Baizi clenched his right fist, and all of a sudden the endless thunder poured in. Stared at the attacking sword light, and punched out, open black lens bracket Rokushiki, 6 styles Yachi Thunder Dragon close black lens bracket. After the rumbling punch, all of a sudden 8 huge thunder dragons covering the sky emerged from Baizi's right fist full of thunder, and the domineering dragon's roar raised in the sky and roared towards the attacking 1,000 jong sword light. There was no pause at all. The thunder dragon in the sky and the sword that covered the sky collided with each other. Baizi's fist and the red-haired Shanks' griffin also collided together, with a loud roar, and the next moment, above the sea area, it is as hot as the explosion of the sun, making people very dazzling. As if 2 stars collided. Immediately, the 2 turbulent waves spread out thousands of feet away, and instantly affected the ships on both sides, and they were washed away more than 100 feet away on the spot. Power is monstrous, and nothing can stop it. Everyone in the field took a deep breath. Even Boa Hancock and the others are like this. In such a battle, they are 1 point stronger than Charlotte Linlin when they are the 4 emperors of Hiyori. Obviously, the strength of this red-haired Shanks is slightly higher than that of Charlotte Linlin. Unimaginable that Shanks, who does not have devil fruits, can do this just by means of the fighting technique. Was another explosive collision, and the 2 broke apart at the touch of a button, and instantly each withdrew to a distance of more than 100 meters, and immediately the sea below them burst into endless waves again. Ha 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 ha, happy. Come again. Before the monstrous waves fell, Shanks laughed out loud, without pausing at all. In an instant, he struck Baizi with a fierce blow again. The next moment, on the sea area, an earth-shattering battle between ghosts and gods was kicked off like this, and various means of coming to that person came out frequently. More he fought, the more courageous he became, and the degree of tragic intensity was so intense that the entire sea area and sky had already been destroyed beyond recognition. The sea collapsed, the sky was torn apart, and the raging sea and wind raged. The monstrous battle in the field caused the scalps of everyone around to explode. In particular, Neptune and the others in the distance all had dull eyes. They were extremely glad that this level of battle was not on their Fishman Island, otherwise the Fishman Island at the moment would have been destroyed. 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour. The two fought for a long time, more than an hour before the battle on the field stopped. Although the battle just experienced, however, the clothes of the two of them are still intact. They are not enemies of life and death, and of course they will not kill them. After another collision, Bai's shanks separated. Shanks' hand, the griffin was drawn towards the sea on the right, and when the sea was about to be pulled out thousands of feet of waves, his eyes were full of joy, happy. It's been a long time since I fought against Whitebeard. If you can't become the 5th emperor of the New World, I really can't think of anyone else who is qualified. This battle will end in a draw. Baizi clenched Vivi's numb right fist. This red-haired Shanks was stronger than Charlotte Linlin. After all, he had cut off one of Charlotte Linlin's arms before, which seemed like a trick. Is it a draw? Baizi's right fist, Vivi, is numb, and Shanks is not relaxed. Holding Griffin's right hand, he is also a little sour. This guy's fist is so hard, it is comparable to Kaido of the Beasts. No wonder this guy has the courage to kill Kaido of the Beasts. 3 calamities and Charlotte Linlin's desert 3 stars. This guy's strength has already reached such a terrifying situation, and it's only been a few months. If he is given some more time, I am afraid that he and the whole new world will have no one to be his opponent. Since this is the case, then let's tie. Shanks waved his hand and said with concern that he had placed Baizi at the level of the 4 emperors long ago, and he didn't feel too much unacceptable about it. After the war, the ships of both sides rushed over from thousands of meters away to meet their captains. Deputy Captain Ben Beckman, stay safe. Laughed when he saw Ben Beckman, who looked complicated and shocked. Hearing Baizi's greeting, Ben Beckman's mouth twitched. Looking at the messy sea after the war, he couldn't help but sigh. It's unbelievable, the original Maudo boy intern, after a few months, has become strong enough to the 4 emperors level. In this regard, many officers and members of the red-haired pirates were deeply touched, and looked at Baizi with envy and fiery eyes. Chapter 119 Ryokugyu uses martial arts to boost the fun. Fishman Island, on both sides of the street. Empty alleys. All the people stood on tiptoe and looked towards the entrance, and the uproar was heard. Lord Baizi and the 4 Emperor Shanks got together, it's true. Hey, of course it's true, just an hour ago, I'm darling, you don't know, our Lord Baizi fought with the 4 Emperor Shanks and disappeared. That's not it, but the most shocking thing is that our Lord Baizi and Shanks ended up in a draw. It's a tie, I will drop the sky. Lord Baizi is indeed the ruthless man who cut off the 4 emperors Charlotte Linlin. Hey, why don't you hear that 4 Emperor Shanks is coming to visit our Fishman Island? We, Lord Baizi and Shanks, won't really fight. A few months ago, they were still a pirate ship. To put it bluntly, we Lord Baizi came from the Red Hair Pirates. After this battle, I am afraid that the whole new world will know that our Lord Baizi became the 5th emperor. Looking at the empty street, the people around them were boiling with excitement, all of their faces flushed with excitement, and they were chattering about the sky-covering battle just outside their Fishman Island. Look, here they come. I don't know where the crowd in the street sounded a voice, and then it exploded like a cannonball in everyone's ears and minds. Swipe, swipe, 5, 10, hundreds of thousands of eyes on both sides of the Fishman Island streets in a short while, all of them looking towards the entrance all at once. Lord Baizi and the 4 Emperor Shanks at the same time is enough to make them like this. Finally, At the moment when the people of Fishman Island's eyes fell in the direction of the entrance, they saw Baizi and Shanks jokingly talking from the entrance of Fishman Island, appearing in the field of vision. The two of them were laughing and chatting like good friends who hadn't seen each other for a long time. It was hard to imagine that in the past hour, the two had a shocking battle. As soon as they came to the streets of Fishman Island, the red-haired Shanks and Ben Beckman were stunned by the huge battle. Obviously, they did not expect the people of Fishman Island to be so warm. Captain Baizi, it seems that your prestige on Fishman Island is very high. Shanks looked at Baizi from both sides, his eyes were full of worship and respect from the people of Fishman Island, and he joked with laughter. It's okay. Looking at the excited people on both sides of the street, Baizi smiled lightly, and the group walked towards the headquarters of the Yanwang pirates while talking. Wow, this is the 4 Emperor Shanks, okay. Yes, but I think Master Baizi is more handsome. I heard that Bai doesn't have a girlfriend yet. Hey, girlfriend, stop joking, ordinary girls are not worthy of Lord Baizi. Haven't you seen the girls next to Lord Baizi? Empress Boa Hancock, and our Princess Shirahoshi, I'm afraid they can be worthy Lord Baizi. Listening to the comments of the people around, Hancock subconsciously glanced at the way he was chatting and laughing with the 4th Emperor Shanks before walking away. From this angle, Captain Baizi looked so handsome. I don't know what to think. Hancock's pretty face was slightly dizzy. A heart can't help but start beating vigorously. About half an hour later, everyone came to the headquarters of the Yanwang pirates. After today, when the news spreads, I am afraid that Captain Baizi will. It's the 5th Emperor. I would also like to thank Captain Shanks for his kindness. After arriving at the headquarters, drinking and laughing at the same time, the atmosphere is very light. But it was Ryokugyu, who had long been tiring, and stared at Ben Beckman with a pair of bull-eyed eyes, and a thunderous voice swayed, Captain Shanks, I have long heard of the 4 Emperor's red-haired pirates, and now they are taking advantage of it. It would be a pity not to use no martial arts to add to the fun. Quote. Oh. The redhead who took a sip of wine heard Ryokugyu's words and looked at Ryokugyu. I don't know what Vice Captain Ryokugyu means. Who knew a little about Ryokugyu's temperament, looked at Ryokugyu meaningfully, but it was Ryokugyu who spoke out directly and looked at Ben Beckman beside Shanks. Hee, I am a straight person and like to fight the most. Captain Shanks' strength, I don't think I can beat it, so. Voice said this. Ryokugyu stared at Ben Beckman with eyes full of fighting intent. Ryokugyu, the vice captain of the Yanwang pirates, wants to ask the vice captain of Ben Beckman. As soon as this statement came out, including the redhead, everyone stopped drinking, and Ben Beckman, who was drinking in his spare time, was also slightly startled. Obviously, he did not expect Baizi's deputy captain to make such a request. Ben Beckman looked at Baizi, and the cadres of the red-haired pirates became very interested. They also knew Ryokugyu's record very well. One who can kill the 3 desert generals smoothly, is the top war to kill a kainu. The existence of them, to be honest, is enough to fight their vice captain Ben Beckman. Hee, don't take offense, Deputy Captain Ben Beckman, Ryokugyu has such a temper and a straight temper. Listening to Baizi's words, the red-haired looked at Ben Beckman and said with a smile, since Vice Captain Ryokugyu said so, then Ben Beckman, you should discuss with Vice Captain Ryokugyu. Okay. Ben Beckman, who wanted to drink happily, pondered for a moment, then nodded and agreed. He also wanted to see how strong Ryokugyu, who defeated a kainu, was. As soon as Ben Beckman said this, many officials and members of the pirate groups on both sides were full of brilliance in their eyes. Their respective captains have not decided the winner, and now the deputy captains are going to confront each other. In this case, let's move to the training ground, after all, it can be opened there. Seeing that Ben Beckman agreed, Baizi laughed out loud. So good. Shanks heard that he stood up with a jug of wine, and Baizi, who also got up, went to the training ground. Many cadres behind him were stunned for a moment, and they all followed. After a while, only the excited Ryokugyu and the slightly gloomy Fujitora Isho were left in the living room. Ryokugyu, that Ben Beckman is not easy. Based on the information that this old man knows, before the captain went to the top of the battle, this Ben Beckman was able to hold back the existence of Kaido of the beasts, so don't be careless. Hearing Fujitora Isho's words, Ryokugyu solemnly looked towards the training ground. Don't worry Fujitora, although I'm a bit aggressive, but I'm not a fool, I won't be careless if I can hold back Kaido of the beasts. Hey, I just wanted to see how powerful this red-haired pirate's vice captain, Ben Beckman, is. Ryokugyu Hey Isho, he raised his feet and walked towards the training ground. Fujitora Isho saw Ryokugyu's flamboyant appearance, and Vivi shook his head and went to the training ground. Chapter 120_Father's head caught in the door. After a few minutes. Yanwang Pirates Headquarters, Training Ground. Boom with the dull sound. Ryokugyu who was hit by boom immediately took more than 10 steps back, while Ben Beckman took less than 10 steps back, but then Ryokugyu fell into a state of excitement and became more and more brave. Ben Beckman's face became more and more solemn, and he also looked squarely at the vice captain of Baizi. Boom bang 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 as time goes by 1 minute. 5 minutes. 10 minutes. After about a quarter of an hour, the two stopped, and Ben Beckman here looked at Ryokugyu's eyes full of surprise and amazement. No wonder this guy can beat Marine Admiral Akainu to the ground. That level of strength is really terrifying. It can be said that that alone is enough to compete with Admiral, if coupled with the poisonous fruit obtained from Impel Down Magellan. Its strength, this is the red hair. The vice captain of the pirate group, really amazing. Ben Beckman was shocked, and Ryokugyu was also very surprised, sighing with emotion. There are not many people who can reach this level with him. Afterwards, the two pirate groups started drinking without getting drunk again, and from time to time faint laughter spread from the headquarters of the Yanwang pirates. On the other hand, the people of Fishman Island near the Yanwang pirates were arguing in groups of 3 or 5. Hey, did you hear the voice from Master Baizi and their headquarters? It seems like they are fighting. They won't fight. How is it possible to fight? If he and the others really fight, do you think Lord Baizi's headquarters will still exist? It's unbelievable, the prosperity of our Fishman Island is coming. It's not, I'm a little excited now. The next day, early morning. The first ray of golden morning sun in the sky pierced through the thick clouds and poured into the room through the hollowed-out window, dispelling the last ray of darkness in the room. What? Thinking high school, Baizi and Shanks are doing it. And just yesterday, Luffy, who was knocked unconscious by Baizi's punch, woke up and learned what happened after the coma yesterday. His mouth was so open that he could stuff Chopper in, and his eyes were even protruding. Luffy jumped up immediately, completely unable to accept what he heard. Baizi and Shanks fought, and finally ended in a tie. That guy can't even take Shanks. Damn it, the 5th Emperor seems to it's that guy's. Hey Zoro, what about Soren? Luffy looked around the room without seeing Zoro, and asked suspiciously with big eyes. Zoro him. Cut. That, the traitor with green algae head, went to the master to practice swords. Snorted, and a sour voice came out of his mouth. What? The sound waves that pierced the air, the super high-pitched shells filled every corner of the room, and instantly spread out, and the whole room almost couldn't bear Luffy's voice. What did you say? Zoro went to Baizi to practice swordsmanship. Luffy's eyes widened, and his face was full of anger, but when he thought about yesterday's complete defeat, Luffy's fist slammed on the edge of the bed, and with a bang, the fragile edge of the bed was instantly smashed and burst open. Come. No, I'm going to find that one again. Baizi fights and brings Zoro back. While talking, the nervous Luffy was going to fight with Baizi again, but before he could take a step away, Nami, who was angry with the little devil, knocked on the spot with a chestnut. Luffy, give it to me. Calm down. Nami glared at Luffy with hatred for iron and steel, and then said solemnly, Captain Baizi's strength is far from what we can deal with. Yesterday, someone kept his hand, and you know, now Baizi has not only become a new world, the fifth emperor, and the second leader of the revolutionary army, that is to say, in the revolutionary army, besides your father Long, Baizi has the highest status, including Sabo. Rumbling undeniably, Nami's words immediately shocked Luffy back from her anger, and her eyes were filled with dullness. 1 second, 10 seconds 1.5 minute of sluggishness lasted for more than a minute before Luffy came back to his senses. The second leader of the revolutionary army, the top leader of the revolutionary army below his father, how is this possible? Did my father's head get caught in the door, and he made such a decision? Nami. Sanji et al. Luffy, this is absolutely true, and Sabo who delivers the letter is still here. Chopper jumped to the table and shouted with wide eyes. Gah! Sasebo didn't wait for Luffy to react further, when he heard the door slammed open with a bang, and a figure broke in. Luffy, long time no see. That's right. Who pushed in the door was none other than the Sabo they were talking about now, the second in command of the Revolutionary Army and Chief of Staff Sabo. Sabo, it's really you. Seeing the approaching person in front of him, Luffy with wide-eyed eyes jumped 3 feet high, and the matter of Zoro's mutiny was immediately forgotten by him. Seeing Sabo coming to Nami Chopper, a few people breathed a sigh of relief, and it seemed that Sabo was able to stabilize the out-of-tune captain. Soon after learning about Zoro, Seguai looked at Luffy. You should find the second leader theory for this matter. Listening to Luffy's words, Sabo was a little amused, and said earnestly to Luffy, Luffy, to be honest, there are many cadres in the Revolutionary Army, but I don't know how many apprentices want to be the second leader. Even if I am willing to be the second leader, I will worship him as my teacher. Sabo, you are. After listening to Sabo's words, Luffy's face was stunned, and he couldn't understand why Sabo said that. When Sanji heard Sabo's words, the corners of his mouth twitched and his eyelids twitched. So that's it. Zoro made a lot of money by taking Baizi as his teacher. Seeing Luffy's confused appearance, Sabo said deeply, Luffy, it has been more than a year since you went to sea, and it takes only a few months for the second leader to go to sea. According to the information I have, in a few months, the strength of the previous second leader can be said that every one of us here can kill him in seconds. And a person who has only used a few months to increase his strength to compete with the 4 emperors, and even cut off Charlotte Linlin's arm, such a person can be honestly called a god. Booming Sabo's words is like a word that wakes up a dreamer. Nami, Chopper and the others are shocked, but Sanji's heart is screaming bad. If this is the case, then the chance of catching up with Zoro is almost zero. Furthermore, it must have a deep meaning for the leader of the dragon to let Mr. Baizi be the second leader. If it is because you delayed your father's plan, then the time will come. As Sabo's words unfolded, Luffy's face became heavier, and beads of sweat rolled down his forehead. Ever since he learned that his father was Long, the leader of the Revolutionary Army, Luffy had never met his legendary father. Full of adoration and admiration. The world government alone is definitely a man who has reached the peak of hockey. Sabo, who knows Luffy well, continued to strike while the iron is hot. Besides, Zoro can take the second leader as his teacher. This is definitely the turning point of his life. If Zoro's strength breaks through the boundaries of great swordsmen in the future, you will have a strong man on board that even Mihawk can't match. The swordsman who surpasses the great sword. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, quote. Same as Shanks. Grunt. Luffy swallowed his saliva. Now that he has calmed down, he almost ruined Zoro's life chances. As a captain, he shouldn't be so selfish.